Do 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 do. Oh wow 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 wow. Alrighty, hey, what's going on, everybody? EnteR ChazmaN here with a weird stream. I kind of did this last year, and it's something I had some fun doing. But if you guys don't happen to know about me, I'm a big football and NFL fan, and short of basically watching football games themselves, which that's too much to dedicate. But one of my favorite sporting events of the year is something called the NFL Draft, and that is where every team in the league gets to kind of go around and select players that they want from the college rankings, from the college level. And that's kind of what I decided I'm going to watch today. I know it's going to be... I have a feeling a lot of you are going to be interested in watching it, and that's fine. You know, we'll get back to gaming tomorrow, but for tonight, I at least wanted to kind of try... I think I watched this last year, and I kind of wanted to see how things go here. Alright, so the event is happening. If you got any questions, feel free to let me know.
Our theater is directly outside this.
Once again, I know a ton of you. Hey, Skylar Twilight's in chat. What's up, Skylar? Now, granted, this is like a lot of copyright-oriented material, so I'm probably not going to be showing much in terms of the video. Maybe occasionally I'll throw something on, but this will be kind of just, I don't know, you're going to kind of get to see me, mostly me. You want to know where the draft is being held this year? It is over in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So
first overall pick. I spoke with a Giants source who told me the Titans were not moving off that pick.
They're talking about the Tennessee Titans right now, which is the team that gets to pick the very first, which typically means in the NFL, he didn't have a very good year last year.
Which brings me to a story about Cam Ward's pro day last month. Ward completed a beautiful deep pass right in front of Titans head coach and GM. Ward turned to them and he said, quote,
let's see if you can see it for a minute.
Today. And Ward has done exactly that.
The Cleveland Browns have entertained calls from multiple teams inquiring about the number 2 overall pick. They are expected to keep their phone lines open until they are on the clock, and then they will make a decision. Now, most people around the league expect Cleveland to stand pat and take Colorado's Travis Hunter. But the Browns have what a team source described to me as a very
making it a little
short list of
difficult
players
for me
they'd
to
be
do
comfortable selecting Thursday night. So moving down the board slightly is not out of the question. Meanwhile, the Browns would love to come away with this draft with a passer, but they won't press the issue for the sake of a splash. They would prefer not to trade into the late first round.
Are they blocking
at number 3 in the first round? The New York Giants are in the sweet spot of this draft. What will they do? Will they draft a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders of Colorado? No team has done more work on Shedeur Sanders than the Giants. All the scouting, all the interviews, the last-minute workout. Do they pass on Sanders and take perhaps a blue-chip prospect like Abdul Carter of Penn State? And if they don't take Sanders at 3,
they found a way to make sure I can't watch any of this.
Bottom of the first round to take a quarterback. The target.
I mean, not that it's the
Jackson
biggest deal in a way. You know?
In conversations with top Patriots officials,
that'd be kind of a bummer,
they are determined to come out of this draft with more support for quarterback Drake May. At times over the last 24 to 48 hours, they haven't been certain what the Giants are going to do right before them, so they are leaving themselves open to the possibility of a surprise. But the foundation of their plan is to build a stronger foundation around May, with left tackle a top priority.
The Saints are in need of a future franchise quarterback.
Exactly.
But don't expect for them
I don't understand how they're blocking a display capture.
Instead, watch for the Saints to begin building a fresh
it popped up there.
That will fit new coordinator Brandon Staley's 3-4 scheme and select the best interior lineman or edge player available. As for quarterback, they've got capital to maneuver if they want to add a late first-round pick or move up in the second round. The quarterbacks
that's crazy technology that they're able to just block it now.
And Tyler Shuck.
Interesting. How are you doing, Skylar? Sorry, I'm neglecting y'all.
From a lot of those reporters. We'll see at what point tonight, if at all, we wind up hearing his name. In the meantime, you saw some of the players who.
How is you doing? Hopefully you are doing great. Once again, I apologize if you guys. I've got a feeling this is amongst my community. This isn't going to be a super popular thing, which that's once again. I apologize. We'll get back to playing the video juegos tomorrow. Doing good so far, said Skylar. Hey, that's awesome. I really wish I could show you guys this. I normally.
Now they'll walk into this hallway.
I'm like totally shocked that they have the technology to just know that we're watching.
That stage as professional football players and Boise State running back.
Could it be that maybe I don't need to be in full screen
when
mode?
I asked him about this moment, and he said this will be a heartwarming walk for me because my journey to this point was not straight. You know, growing up as a military kid, under-recruited, living overseas, but accomplishing my goals anyway. Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter said that this is going to be a really emotional day for his family. His father, Christopher, trained him his entire childhood, having him run around the block and lift weights in their living room at just 8 years old, all for this moment. And how about the projected first overall pick, Cam Ward, who told me he's thought about this walk, this moment, his entire life, but said he's most excited for this, to stand in front of this mirror and put on his new team's hat. And he even told me he hopes that it's a Titans hat. Now, in a room right off of this stage are 32 team hats of all different sizes. They took the players' measurements just yesterday, and every player I spoke with told me they're most excited for two things: to get their hat and for that trademark Roger Goodell hug right here on this mark in front of over 250,000 fans as the NFL history for the next generation starts now in the shadow of historic Lambeau Field.
Green Bay. For more than 100 years, your city has been essential to the NFL's journey.
There wouldn't be any professional football without
All of a sudden, this is so weird how things work here. I feel like the quality of the stream is terrible at the moment.
For the moments.
Is it better on the NFL? It is better, so ESPN's is just crappy.
Aren't born. They're built.
Huh.
All across America, in places just like this.
Let me pull some stuff on the screen for you guys so you can at least see something. I actually do have a quick announcement if you guys didn't see in my Discord the other day. I literally, I just landed a Nintendo Switch 2. So, I don't know, I guess in a selfish manner, yippee, yippee, yippee me. I don't know, I was kind of hoping to snag one up just because with things worldwide being the way they are, it's just like trying to pick one of these things up at a retail price seems like a pretty smart move, I feel like. Yeah, you just say, I guess you just have, for me, I guess you just have no idea how hard or easy these things could be to get in the next, you know, however long couple years. I was kind of shocked though that I thought China was gonna like keep those pre-orders from happening for a longer period of time. Luckily they were like lucky enough they just like put them back up. Oh yeah, shoot, sorry, I zoned out. So hope my phone's not muted. Good job, Chaz. Bam, 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 bam. Alright, event's back on.
Has become Draft Town, and yes, it is a party in a parking lot in Wisconsin. That's the way things usually go here in the home.
Are we ready? Is it time for the draft?
Travis Hunter, nice and loose, getting set to hear his name tonight in a National Football League draft. Abdul Carter, the man who wore the sticks in Penn State. Where will he wind up? Could he be going to New York? The man who normally runs on blue turf. We'll hear his name outside of the frozen tundra. But the man who might have the shortest night of all, warming up for the Tennessee Titans potentially to pick from the U, Cam Ward. Welcome to the NFL Draft presented by Verizon. Tens upon tens of thousands of fans, again, in the shadow of the football cathedral known as Lambeau Field, are here for the proceedings of the 2025 NFL Draft, draft number 22 for NFL Network. And I am humbled to be sitting here in the host seat for all 22 of them and counting. Rich Eisen here along with my guy, Daniel Jeremiah, Move the Sticks, which is potentially a very antiquated term. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Charles Davison from Fox Sports, my guy, Joel Klatt, all hanging out with us tonight. Kurt Warner and Ian Rappaport and Jamie Erdahl will join us. DJ, you have the first word. What you're looking forward to tonight?
Well, there's a couple stars at the top of the draft, and we're anxious to see where those guys go. But this draft is about starters. This is a very deep group of starters that these teams see wildly differently. So I was asked the other day, what's the consensus? There is no consensus. Is what's going to lead to an exciting night tonight, CD, because we really have no earthly idea of how these names are going to come off the board.
And contrary to popular belief, I actually listened to you. I listened to Joel. You guys have told me starters in this draft, but we still will have maybe some fireworks in the first round for people to go get some of those top-level guys, positions that you need, either running back, tight end, and quarterback.
Pretty simple, Rich. We're on Shedeur Sanders' watch. Where does he go? How high? How low? Does he go tonight?
We're here on a draft night in Wisconsin on a brisk April evening. It's usually a bit warmer when folks ride bikes around here.
What do we got? 237. Sorry, y'all. Kind of trying to get set up here.
Practice right here
There
in
we
Green
go.
Bay, and you can see folks biking around the draft hall amongst all the fans of all 32 teams.
Actually, let's
And
move
I
me
do
over.
believe the commissioner of the National Football League is on one himself to come on out and put the Titans on the clock.
The age-old tradition of booing the commissioner on his way out.
Doing a local custom.
I guess
I thought they would cheer this one for once. He's like, if I don't get cheers now, forget it. It's just always going to be this way.
Egging him on, going around the whole stage.
All right.
I respect that.
Very good. Who's biking with him here?
Oh, wow. I think I saw Mason Crosby.
I thought I saw him too. Some Packers legends.
Hey, look at all these Lil Wayne. Look at all these former Green Bay Packers. Except for Lil Wayne.
North Carolina.
So the Packers fans elated to have the draft here, and it's time for the commissioner to kick off the proceedings tonight. Put down the kickstand, get to the mic stand, and put the Titans on the clock.
Thanks, said Skylar. Yeah, Lil Wayne. He's a big Green Bay fan, I'm pretty sure. That's why he's kind of with this group. I know you can't see it. I apologize. I really wish I could pull it up, but YouTube seems to have done a fantastic job of preventing me from doing that. I don't understand how they can block.
Was too small for this with a population of 107,000.
I don't think they were able to do that last year.
125,000 people here and still counting. Obviously, Green Bay may be small, but it's mighty. Thank you all for welcoming us here tonight.
Just an average day on YouTube? Yeah.
Have a great few days.
I'm sure there's a way I could figure it out. If you could, let me know how audio sounds. Alright, let me pay attention, sorry. I'm too busy looking at other things.
Over the next 3 days, we will welcome in the next generation.
So if you want to know, I guess, kind of what the expectations are, if you don't pay attention to the sport,
every NFL team
is that if you see on the screen right now, the Tennessee Titans, again, coming off of a bad year, are slated to draft first And they had, oh gosh, I can't remember the quarterback that they had last year. His name, I don't know if his name's missing me.
Jordy Nelson.
Hey, Jordy Nelson.
Mason Crosby.
Clay Matthews, Jordy, Mason, former Green Bay Packers. Oh, that's who that is. It's Amon Green. Okay. James Jones, I know.
And Packers superfan, Lil Wayne.
I'm going to go off script here real quick, Roger, but I just got off the phone with the President, Donald Trump. He asked me to pass a message along to all 32 NFL franchises. So let me tell you what it reads here, all right? It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck! Let's go! Go Pack!
The Bears still suck.
I'm sorry, Roger. I'm sorry.
If you want to know who the Bears are and why he's making fun of them,
that's a first.
The Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers are two teams, two historic teams. I think some of the earliest teams in the entire league, with one of the longer rivalries. And they're in the same division, so it's like a. There's a lot of animosity there. They're two of the teams the least likely to have dinner together, essentially.
The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
All right. So, I don't know if that was the first surprise that Roger Goodell was saying.
By the way, in store, Illinois, not a swing state. Reminder.
So, here we go. The Tennessee Titans.
And my brother lives in Chicago, so that's funny. I know I'm texting him right now. So again, if you don't know, I mentioned it, Tennessee Titans, one of the worst teams. They had a terrible year last year in terms of playing a quarterback. They have to draft a quarterback. Will Levis, that's the guy's name I couldn't think of.
Starting quarterback, their first overall on the clock.
But essentially, they have to draft a quarterback. It's the most important position. They were not very good at it last year.
A lot of other reasons why our team is first overall on the clock. Daniel Jeremiah. This should be Cam Ward from all.
It's going to be Cam Ward. I think the guy's from Miami. So they have to draft essentially the best quarterback. There's really not much else they can do.
They got a couple offensive linemen to come in. They've tried to make this young quarterback friendly for someone like Cam Ward. And Cam Ward, through the process, coming into the season, you're talking about somebody who's viewed as maybe a day 2 pick. But, man, we have seen this pattern happen over and over again.
That's why I said, I get it now. Yeah. Oh, with the Titans, yes.
And they vault themselves, in this case, all the way up.
Again, in the sport of football, the quarterback is the most essential position. It's the person that dictates what's happening on offense and has to throw the ball to the receivers. So if you don't have one of those, your team typically is not very good, and that's probably why you're drafting number 1 in the draft.
Chasing C.J. Stroud, that's your first and foremost. But I think that he has earned this spot, Joel and Rich, because of this. The Tennessee Titans made him earn it through the process. I don't think they went into the idea that a quarterback was absolutely going to be their pick at number 1. They were hoping for that King.
Let me see if there's a way I can pull up.
2016, when he was the GM, someone make us an offer. We need help everywhere on this roster. But as they kept going through the process, kept evaluating, kept going through things, Cam Ward earned their trust, earned their respect, and they hope that he will be their Steve McNair going forward as this franchise gets kickstarted once again.
That's nothing new for him, though. That's the beauty of it. At least, when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a guy that was a no-star recruit. He barely got recruited to Incarnate Word. Their head coach was Eric Morris at the time. Eric Morris was the offensive coordinator.
Let's see. Launch Discord on browser.
Holmes was a Red Raider, and Eric Morris was there at Incarnate Word. Then he took the job at Washington State. Guess where Cam Ward went? To Washington State.
Washington State.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And then he winds up at Miami. And again, a no-star
join a
recruit
Discord
with
voice channel, it says.
To go to Incarnate Word, winds up at Miami. His last year as a consensus All-American. He's going to get selected number 1 in the NFL draft. So you're talking about a guy just earning it in this process.
Share screen. Click share screen.
And to DJ's point about him coming up through all this, this incarnate word to Washington State, to this, yeah, competitive, but he could have come out in last year's draft and been a part of that. He took the extra year with Miami and vaulted himself into this position. That's what DJ's talking about with a number of these quarterbacks in recent years.
I think he made more money last year.
Well, and right now he's stuck in the vortex of the Titans apparently taking one for the team by taking all 10 minutes instead of just handing in a card with his name on it like we've expected them to do over the last
so
few
can't
weeks.
see, I don't know how updated the ESPN app is. Is there a countdown for you guys? Oh, it's not cool enough to have a countdown on it, I guess. Oh, no, it does. Okay, I just had to update it. All right.
Sometimes you question the decision making, but there was no question about the talent and the competitiveness, and that's what I see.
So typically teams take the full amount of time to make their draft picks, but most of the time they already know who they're going to be selecting. So again, if you see on screen it says best fit for the Titans, that would be Cam Ward, who, again, quarterback out of Miami.
And we just saw Brian Callahan on the phone, and they're beginning to pass it around, which means we're close. In the meantime, Daniel, let's take a look at some tape of Cam Ward.
Yeah, this is going to be fun tape to watch. A live arm. The comparison for me, body type, play style had some Baker Mayfield to it, and a strong, sturdy presence within the pocket. How about the power arm? Watch him get his feet in the ground and drive this ball into a tight window. The strength in the pocket. CD, you mentioned Steve McNair. This looks a little like McNair. His ability to shrug off a tackle and then still get the ball accurately down the field. Think about Caleb Williams last year. The ability to escape and create. He has some of those elements to his game. But as we're talking about things that need to clean up, there's times he's just trying to do a little extra, trying to make that special play, which has resulted in some mistakes, as you see here in these turnovers. He's gifted. There's things to clean up, but I'm excited about him, guys. And when I reached out to Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator at Miami, he talked about the energy, the positivity that he has, and his ability to handle adversity. How about this number? In 13 drives after a turnover last year at Miami, 7 touchdowns, 3 field goals for this kid.
The pick is in. Ian Rappaport, let's send things to you.
Rich, my understanding is the Tennessee Titans had significant interest from other teams in trading for the #1 overall pick. Cleveland Browns called, the Giants called, offered next year's one. The New Orleans Saints inquired. No.
Sorry, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to stream this thing, but still having trouble with it.
The Browns being on the clock, 2nd overall. Again, presumably Travis Hunter is now officially in play. So is the 2nd overall pick in this draft. The Giants waiting word of what the Browns are going to do. Then they choose 3rd overall. In case you're wondering, the last time the Tennessee Titans chose a #1 overall pick in a draft.
I know, I also forgot to mention, if you guys don't know what team I personally am a fan of, I am from Florida. I'm a Florida boy.
Who, as we all know,
my Tampa Bay Buccaneers from North Florida. This is my Tom Brady NFL jersey. So, if you want to know, we pick later. We're like pick number 19. So it could be another hour and a half, 2 hours before we get to see my team pick. So this is going to be a long stream probably. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch the whole thing. This typically goes on for like 4 hours. So I don't know if I'll be up till, I don't know if I'll be able to see every draft pick, but I at least want to see my team. That's all I care about.
So it's now time for the commissioner of the National Football League.
So this is a big deal. If you guys can hear it, this is a very big deal for the sport, really, and this team in particular, the Titans, because this could be, if they hit the pick, this could be franchise transforming player.
The Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
Yep. Now, granted, the first couple picks are always the most predictable. Generally, the first 3 to 4 are super predictable. It's after that is where things can kind of go in any direction. So that's why I said 4 hours, not too bad. Yeah, not too bad, generally. This will probably end sometime around midnight or 11:30 or something. Like I said, I'll watch until I get tired, but I don't know if I'll be able to see the whole thing.
One was Russell Maryland. The one before that is Vinny Testaverde. And yes, as we are watching Cam Ward have his moment, I have to pass along that the Jacksonville Jaguars are now on the clock.
Incredible.
So the Browns took 2.5 minutes to field a call from Duval County, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have moved up from 5-2. 7 minutes until we hear that pick at the very least. In the meantime, let's give Cam Ward his due, Daniel Jeremiah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him at the next level. He's going to be able to expand the playbook, not only the play as it's designed, but his ability to extend and create as well. And it's ironic, CD, that as he mentioned the other day, he gets to go play with his favorite players and Calvin Ridley and company, who he shouted out the other night.
And the other part about it is we probably haven't talked as much about how much he loves the game and absorbs and can create. Got a story about when he first got to Miami. First day of practice, able to go ahead and decipher defenses, change things quickly, and they think, we got a live one in this young man very quickly there.
Okay, so while we're watching Cam Ward again have his moment, with all due respect, we will talk more about Cam Ward in a second, but a major trade has happened. It took all of about 7 minutes for the first trade of this draft.
Oh, a trade just happened?
And it is Jacksonville moving up to 2. Ian Rappaport taking
Oh, Jacksonville Jaguars just moved up.
Trade. The Jacksonville Jaguars
wow.
wanted to be bold, and they are in fact bold. They have agreed to terms with the Browns to trade from number 5 to number 2, with the Browns receiving a second rounder, number 36 overall, 126 overall this year, and next year's first round pick. Could that potentially be used to get the Browns a quarterback of the future?
If you don't know, I'm sure you know. I'm in South Florida. And Jacksonville is, you know, very North Florida of us, so I know quite a few family members and know people that are Jacksonville fans. Basically, being in Florida means you have someone who all of us have a family member who is either a fan of the Dolphins or Jaguars. Tampa, honestly, the Buccaneers historically have been the team that, like, there isn't as many fans of, although in recent history we've become more popular.
I think it's pretty simple from my perspective. We will prioritize people and players that are intangibly rich.
But historic, before, like, before we got good in certain times, Tampa was not a popular team, but yeah, the Dolphins is like the big team for Florida.
Taking the football on defense and fishing. That's it.
Well, that's part of the ecosystem, right? Didn't he just talk about an ecosystem there? Look, he wants great players. That's what you want in all of this, and he's going to get one in Travis Hunter. I think they'll play him on offense first.
Oh, so they think Travis Hunter? Travis Hunter.
We say hello to Jamie Erdahl right now here.
Let's see what they're gonna say.
Stage with the first overall pick in the draft.
Oh, this pick's already in. Oh no, she's just talking. Okay. If you want to know, yeah, the previous team, the Cleveland Browns, were another team that was supposed to make this pick. And what teams can do is they can kind of barter and trade players, money. What team is celebrating? Oh, it's Tennessee. And other draft picks, like from future years, they can all barter, and they can kind of use that to bounce a trade where they're at in terms of status of their draft pick. And essentially, just now, the Jacksonville Jaguars have traded to the second pick from a higher pick.
So the last time,
and they're speculating that the Jacksonville here could be looking to get Travis Hunter. He was one of the best players. Like, Cam Ward is he's a good quarterback. He was the best quarterback in terms of all of the quarterbacks in this draft. But I think most people would agree, the professionals especially, Cam Ward is not the best player overall in this draft. Travis Hunter is one of the best players in terms of, like, overall talent and what he can do and stuff. So again, like, if they were to draft somebody like Travis Hunter, that would be a killer pick for them.
Let's finish up Cam, because this guy started 57 games. He attempted 2,300 passes.
Again, that's always a big distinction, is like, just because someone's the best quarterback, depending on the strength of the quarterback class, that doesn't necessarily always mean that they're the best the best quarterback doesn't always translate to the best player. Most of the time that's the case, but I think most people would say this is not a draft class of quarterbacks that is amazing. So by far, this could very well be Jacksonville. If they take a guy like Travis Hunter, they could be taking the best player in this draft class.
Gives you the big plays on offense, and maybe he's the guy guarding Nico Collins, Houston's big target on defense. This is going to be a very interesting deal, but bottom line, DJ, You talked about this last night on your mock draft show. Trevor Lawrence, this is it, my man. And we're giving you every opportunity, and we're giving you every weapon we possibly can. That's
Although I
exactly
shouldn't
how
be
this
rooting
feels
for
right
Jacksonville.
now.
They just
This has
freaking
gotta
stole
be
our
it
head
for
coach.
Trevor Lawrence.
And
Or
Hunter
one of
is
our
such an amazing
coordinators
talent,
who's
such
now
an
their head
amazing
coach.
athlete, and he's going to see one-on-one coverage because that dude on the other side, and Brian Thomas Jr., one of the best young players regardless of position in the NFL. So it's all there. They got him a great play caller with an offense that fits Trevor Lawrence, and now he's got two big-time weapons if this is where they go.
Just jumping in here, we've got about 15 seconds till we hear the official. Who do you think Cleveland might choose 5th overall? Who do you think they move down?
Oh, so Cleveland, it was 5th was where Jacksonville was.
Move again, maybe?
Just commit to trying to get assets for next year. We'll see. This looks like they're taking in this quarterback class and saying we're going to next year.
And if they don't drop down, Kurt Warner may have been on it about the runner.
Well, Eric Armstead is the reigning Walter Payton Man of the Year from Jacksonville, and he's flanking the commissioner.
While we are here tonight to celebrate the 32 young men entering the NFL, I'm honored to take a moment to recognize a player who's made a profound impact on and off the field. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes one player each year who best represents greatness and compassion both on and off the field and in the community. Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
Well, I'm just noticing this is a big pick for Jacksonville because I'm just seeing that their next pick after this is not until round 3. Make it a Duval County.
Thank you to the Payton family and the NFL and Nationwide, and also to
Making a Duval call in Wisconsin, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's kind of crazy.
To identify a passion close to their heart and act upon it.
Duval. Oh, that's right, the Cohen guy. People were making fun of him because of how weird he was. Duval.
As we remember Walter Payton, strive to leave a positive legacy of your own. Thank you. We have a trade. The Cleveland Browns have traded the 2nd pick to the
I'd be surprised if this isn't Travis Hunter.
And with the 2nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
Yeah, there you go.
Receiver, defensive back from Colorado.
So the Jacksonville Jaguars go bold, sort of like the color of the jacket. Travis Hunter is dancing his way out of the green room in. Taking that.
That's a bright coat. Oh, you guys can't see that. Sorry. He's wearing like a super bright pink coat.
Move up 3 spots. Trade next year's 1st round pick and other considerations for the unicorn in this year's draft. The last time a wide receiver was taken 2nd overall was when this happened to Calvin Johnson in 2007. The last time a cornerback was chosen in the top 2 overall picks in the NFL draft. It hasn't happened in the common draft era, and it's the first time for both in one and the same individual, the guy who just put on a Jaguars hat.
DJ, of course he's running up there. He never gets tired.
Oh, he's not sweating, I can tell you that much.
115 plays per game. Just think about that. And right now, I'm just wondering, Champ Bailey, all those other guys who could, Charles Woodson, did they feel like they were born too soon, Joel, for them to be utilized like this young man will be utilized in the NFL?
He is a special player, certainly, just between the lines, his instincts on both sides of the ball, but the conditioning is just off the charts. There's no way to explain it, DJ.
All right, let's get into some of the video, guys, and can show you what he does on both sides of the ball there at Colorado. Let's start, first of all, on offense. Off the charts elite ball skills. This catch against North Dakota State was ridiculous, and you see it over and over again, him go up and get it. Now, how's Trevor Lawrence going to enjoy this? A quick little hitch here, and let him break a tackle, and off he goes, run after catch.
On defense, you'll see him in man coverage. I like him best when he's off. I think he's most comfortable there, but flashing some man coverage.
I guess if you guys want to know what makes this guy Travis Hunter such a crazy draft pick, like they were saying, is that one of the few times in college football where a player essentially played both two different positions for periods of time. He's like one of the best secondary players or cornerbacks on defense, and then also he was one of the best receivers on offense in the league, in the college. So he's very now in the NFL you're not going to be doing that because the players are too good. He's not going to be playing both positions, but I think once they figure out where he's going to play, he's going to be really good. Where I don't think it matters really.
To get your services to their team. What conversations have you had with them with how you are going to be used in the NFL?
The crazy part is I had no conversation with them outside of the combine, so I didn't know what to expect, and I'm excited that they came and picked me. I wanted to cry, but I can't cry right now because I'm too excited.
We can feel that. Congratulations, Travis.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Born in West Palm Beach, now going to be employed.
Hey, shout out West Palm Beach.
And boy, they were playing possum since the combine, huh?
It's only like 45 minutes away from me.
And the Jaguars just make us bold. And look at Tony Khan hugging his dad right there. They are fired up at the draft party as well. I can only imagine how they're feeling in Cleveland right now. But hey, Browns fans, let's see what the Browns do next. In the meantime, I give you the floor, Mr. Colorado Buffalo.
Well, I'm immensely proud right now of what Travis has been able to accomplish at the University of Colorado, but he should be proud in what he embarked on coming out of high school. Remember, this is the #1 player in the country that decided to go to a HBCU to play for Deion Sanders. Why? So that he could bet on himself and play both sides of the football. That's why he went there, and Deion gave him that chance. His instincts are off the charts. Just think about it. At all times when he's on the field, he's the best defender and best receiver once the ball's in the air. That's just something to lean on. And when I think about toughness and competitive instincts, this guy comes to mind. I just don't see how he doesn't succeed at the next level. He's a unicorn. He's one of one. The only comparison that I can give to him, it's not Prime, it's not Champ Bailey, it's Shohei Ohtani, because he's going to impact the game to that level on both sides.
Look, my background's in scouting, and I'd love to throw a bunch of fancy terms out about him. Sometimes you got to make it simple. If you want to go out to recess, he's the first pick. That's what it is. He's just better at football, and he can do everything.
And one of the most dynamic receivers in the league last year was rookie Brian Thomas Jr., and now here comes another rookie who could also play corner for the Jaguars. The Giants pick is in. The Patriots are on the clock, 2 minutes in on that. Kurt Warner, let's give you the floor.
Well, I love what you guys are talking about when you talk about instincts, because the best players I played with on the
okay, so another team that is now on the clock, a team that in recent memory was one of the better teams historically, but they've been very down on their luck as of late, largely due to, in my opinion, bad decision making and things of the sort. This is the New York Giants, or I guess technically they're out of New Jersey, I think. I could tell me if I'm wrong about that. But they're a team that's in a lot of turmoil right now, and
is that in honor of Wink Martindale?
this pick, here it is.
2025 NFL Draft.
Shador here.
The New York Giants select Abdul Carter, defensive end, Penn State.
Oh, Giants passed on a quarterback.
That could have gone to Shador Sanders that we expected does go as expected to.
Again, I was just mentioning how big of a decision this is for the Giants. They had a very good run not that long ago, because this is the team that had Eli Manning. The Eli Manning era was one of their brighter spots. They were historically, I don't know if you know, don't know, they were one of the teams that beat the New England Patriots when the New England Patriots were one of the, the preeminent team in the NFL. And they were historically, throughout the 2000s, almost always in the playoffs and doing really well. Up until until things fell apart, but and Eli kind of got older, they really needed a quarterback here. They don't. Who do they have? What is it? 3-4 years ago, they drafted a guy named Daniel Jones from Duke, which was very surprising because a lot of people were not considering Daniel Jones is like a top tier quarterback talent, where he got drafted at, and I don't know, through bad team management. He also partly was injured through a lot of his career so far to this point. Things never worked out there. So that's why it's surprising that they got the number 3 pick and they did not just draft a quarterback. It's
baked in. I know you're a Jets guy. It's not baked in the DNA of Giants fans to chant defense. That's a big deal for them to get back to playing defense.
Like they're showing the draft party right now over in New York, and
Giants fans enjoying that pick. It's the 7th Penn State player selected in the top 3. The Giants have taken the last 2.
I mean, he could be a really Michael Parsons, LeVar Arrington, LeVar. Navarro Bowman. I mean, this guy Abdul Carter could be an elite player, but it's like they really needed a quarterback. I don't know. Maybe they're expecting to get one later.
Everything on that side of the football there at State College.
It kind of feels like they played it safe. They're just like, we need to get the best player. We can't take a risk on a quarterback we don't, know for sure is going to be really good. So, in my opinion, I hate to say it, with a team in their position, I know you want the best player, but you gotta hit it on the quarterback. I would have just take a shot, man. Although maybe it's tough to say, because like their offensive line and also the last few years has not been very good, which if you don't know, an offensive line is the protective shell of a quarterback. That's the 5 big dudes that protect a quarterback when a quarterback is getting ready to throw the ball. And they've had very weak offensive lines the last handful of years, which is a terrible thing to have when you have a quarterback, because that means your quarterback is going to be getting hit a lot if you don't have very good players up front. So it's like it's very hit and miss. It's like if you have a bad offensive line, it's dangerous to draft a quarterback because you don't want to ruin their their ability to be good, because what good are they if they constantly get hit? So maybe New York is. Although they're not really, I don't know. I don't understand this pick. I get it. They're the best player. He may be the best player, but you really need a quarterback. Uh-oh. No, my stream. What's up on my stream, dude?
Erdahl is on the stage with Abdul Carter.
What is going on here?
It's incredible.
Just being myself, just being incredible. That's what I am. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing my whole life in New York. I'm coming. Y'all gonna get the best out of me.
Got a great smile, Abdul. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to him, and congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This might be one of their best draft nights in recent memory. They make the big splash, and we're going to break for the first time on a team other than Jacksonville. See, it's not
oh no, get rid of the music.
Verizon Small Business Days are back. Our experts?
Welcome in.
Closer than you think.
Yes, great.
Let's get rid of that for now. Last thing I need is some Motley Crue happening over here. Darn copyright claims. Hey, Phantom Fox is in chat. Phantom says, any good picks yet? They're all good picks. These are all, like, when it comes to the NFL and the NFL draft, all of these teams that are picking early, these are all the best players. Most of the time, they're the best players in the draft. So these are all good picks, you know. I feel like it typically, once you start getting into like the 4th round and beyond, that's when you start, those are like needle in a haystack players. You have no idea what you're going to get out of some of those guys. But typically your picks from rounds 1 through 3 are like your most dependable. And yeah, definitely people have players that hit from rounds 4 to 7, but yeah, I don't know. There's definitely a level to the talent. But you never know. You could have most of the time players aren't as good as they think, you know, in terms of the 1st and 2nd round and 3rd. And then sometimes you have players you have no idea that get really good in the later end. Fox says, how have the Pats been picking? The Pats are picking right now. Let's see. Yeah, they are on the clock, if you can see. So it says there, New England Patriots, the pick is in. Let's see who they pick. I mean, I would hate to say it, but I would almost have to assume that the New England Patriots just fired, who was it, Gerard Mayo, who was a former player for them, but he was their head coach, and they fired him because, like, I guess they gave him a pretty short. They didn't give him much wiggle room in terms of like not being successful. He was only there for like a year or two. I think he was only there for a year, which is crazy for a coach not to get let go after a year. But they ended up doing that, I suspect, because they wanted a different guy in the name of Mike Vrabel, who also was a former player of them, who played under Bill Belichick, the great coach that kind of helped, you know, make the Patriots one of the preeminent team for a couple decades there. But yeah, I think they Gerard Mayo. I think if it wasn't Mike Vrabel they were bringing in, they probably would have kept him, but he got kind of unlucky. So yeah, so Mike Vrabel's back as their head coach. Well, it's his first time as their head coach. He had previously actually been the head coach of the Titans. But yeah, I would anticipate Mike Vrabel being a defensive guy. I would almost expect this is going to be a defensive player that they're going to draft right here with the number 4 pick.
Browns fans in my life are not happy. Well, let's see what they're going to do right now. There's less than 5 minutes.
I would be shocked if Mike Vrabel doesn't pick a defensive player right here.
Hey, Coop, we're about to get the commissioner in less than 20 seconds time. And the Browns, I believe, have selected. Or Vegas is now on the clock for the first time in this draft.
Fox says, yeah, Pats with 7 rings with Belichick. I think it's 6. I don't think it's 7.
Pick is in the process of being
Let me count in my head which ones that they have with
the
Belichick.
4th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell, tackle, LSU.
So the Patriots decide to go for protection up front for their diamond in the rough quarterback rather than...
So that is a great pick for New England. They just drafted the best offensive lineman, or who is slated to be the best player, best offensive lineman.
Across all 32 teams, they had to go in this direction. They go with Will Campbell.
That's a great pick considering they drafted a rookie quarterback last year. That's never a bad pick in my opinion. You're never going to be disappointed drafting great offensive linemen to protect your quarterback.
When guys get into him, he does have a firm base. He can recover as well. The temperament to finish is outstanding. You see that here in the run game as he's able to displace.
Let's see, Phantom Fox is good picks. Yeah, that's a great pick. I think it's a very good pick for New England. So let's see, what was I saying? So the Super Bowls for New England, they got the very first one against the Rams. Then they beat the Panthers. Then they beat the Eagles.
What about Rashawn Slater?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember every single Super Bowl.
Remember, guys,
And then when they had their other run, who did they beat?
In free agency, getting Milton Williams, getting Harold Landry, Robert Spillane at linebacker.
Why am I drawing a blank? I should know this. Was Panthers, Eagles, Rams, and then they beat the Falcons, which was one, the Rams, which was another one.
It started tonight with Will Campbell.
And I'd be interested in what
Falcons, Rams. Oh, Seahawks. Seahawks. So that's 6. Is there a Super Bowl I'm missing for the Patriots?
Consistent player up front, 38 straight starts.
I don't think so. I don't think it's 7. I think it's 6.
I agree with you, Daniel. Even if you have to move them inside, that's a win.
When I did a Patriot game last year,
I think it's Brady that has 7, right?
Teams could go after. I just circled the whole group. I mean, that's how bad they were. The worst pressure rate in the NFL.
Let me look it up.
They've done a lot.
So I think Brady has 7 because Brady got 6 with the Patriots and then went to Tampa Bay and got us 1.
Add to that offense, and Josh McDaniels is back to
That kid got shy.
Alone should improve things. Both of those, along with this draft choice, as Mike Vrabel's first draft choice as the new HC of the New England Patriots. It's time to welcome Will Campbell to Primetime, presented by Nationwide. Jamie?
Will, you are Mr. Louisiana, but you just got a love letter from the New England Patriots. You haven't stopped smiling since you heard your name. What's behind that smile?
Man, just all the hard work.
Fan Fox says Brady has the most rings next to the Bears. Oh, he's tearing up.
I've worked my entire life to be up here, to be able to get my name called by a franchise like New England. It means everything to me.
We can feel that. We absolutely can feel that, Will. You are brought to New England to protect Drake May. What kind of tone are you going to set on this offensive line?
I'm going to fight and die to protect them with everything I've got.
Congratulations, Will.
In case you couldn't tell, Will Campbell's not from New England. Now he is. From Monroe, Louisiana. Now heading to Foxborough, Massachusetts. Ian Rappaport, take it away.
So this will be fascinating. So again, great pick for the Patriots. I think
Trading back, they have some interesting options. They have the top defensive lineman on the board.
7 in total, 6 with Pats, 1 with Tampa says Phantom. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Then obviously Abdul Carter went to the Giants.
Phantom says Belichick has 8. Does Belichick have 8? He probably does, because when he was a defensive coordinator with the Giants, right? That was like his previous job before becoming the head coach for the Patriots. Oh no! He was the head coach. He was a coordinator for the Giants, and then I forgot his first head coaching job was with the Browns before the Patriots. So this will be fascinating to see what the Cleveland Browns do here, because they traded back. Are they going to take a quarterback here?
Is it Ashton Genty? What do you think?
I would think you'd be looking at another trade. I'm just curious to see if they're going to pick. Or if they're going to.
No, they're picking.
Oh, the pick is actually in. Well, Ashton Genty's my highest rated player, but they have a glaring tackle need. And they have other options out there. Armand Membu is out there. Kelvin Banks from Texas is out there. So that, to me, is a position they have to address.
Which I'm sure is why they were thinking they could move down, is because there's guys they could
Beta Fox is 1 with Browns, 1 with Giants, 6 with Pats. He won a Super Bowl with the Browns? He must have been a coordinator, because he did not win one as a head coach with the Browns. I know his Browns head coach tenure was not considered very good, which is why I think they got rid of him.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan.
Wow.
What?
Browns fans, welcome in a Wolverine to the mix. It's Mason Graham going to Cleveland. No Travis Hunter, 2nd overall.
What an interesting decision from Cleveland.
Mason Graham, a terrific defensive lineman to round out the top 5 as the new Cleveland Browns.
Phantom Fox, I just thought about it, Phantom. I don't think the Browns have ever won a Super Bowl.
This is a guy with a wrestling background.
Now that I think about it.
Unbelievable against the run. You cannot move him at the point of attack. He plays
I'm pretty sure the Cleveland Browns have never won a Super
and then he
Bowl.
also flashes this ability, as he showed
Cleveland
against Alabama, to penetrate, make his way into the backfield. Just a dominant player against the run. Pass rush wise,
have they won a
I think
Super Bowl?
there's more growth to come there, but he shows you in flashes when he can get on an edge and get to the half of a man.
Oh, they've never even been to a Super Bowl, so it couldn't have been with the Browns. Maybe he won 2 with the Giants.
From start to finish, the beginning of the game to the end of the game.
Let me see.
One of the most productive, consistent players in this
Either way, yeah, it doesn't matter. But either way, I was like, I don't think the Cleveland's ever been to a Super Bowl. I never won one. This is an interesting pick for Cleveland. Again, they really needed a quarterback. And the guy was saying, I didn't even realize, but they really needed an offensive lineman? That's... I gotta wonder if they were gonna select that tackle just now, and then New England took him, and now they're like, oh crap.
He's gonna make the linebackers better. He's gonna make the safeties better. He's gonna make everybody better in that.
So who are they gonna play at quarterback?
Because that is a guy who the Browns kept, and now they add Mason Graham to that.
Oh, those Cleveland guys do not look happy.
And remember, Dalvin Tomlinson no longer there. They needed help in the interior, but go to the division they play in. Who's the most dominant team in the AFC North right now? It's the Baltimore Ravens. What do they do?
Phantom says, that was with the Giants. My wires got crossed. Yeah, you're all good. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Cleveland is considered like a, what would you call that? Like a cursed team, I guess you could say.
Look like the perfect specimen. When he comes out of his stance, DJ and Joel, and he shocks you with those hands, guess what? He's going to go and make a play after that.
Yeah, he's incredible in that regard. You know, there's only a few times that I can.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Mason Graham's probably a really good player, but
to myself, hey, the defensive tackles won the game, and they did that against Ohio State, who won the national championship.
You need a
Ohio
quarterback,
State kept trying
and
to
you
run
need
the football at Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham.
I don't know what
Mason
Cleveland's
Graham just kept
doing.
throwing their guards onto the ground and making tackles. I mean, they single-handedly won that game in Columbus.
Well, look at me when you're saying that. Look at him.
No, that's okay. In all honesty, the most important trait anybody from Cleveland wants to have in a Brown is someone who knows how to win in the state of Ohio.
Wow.
The Browns have never had a decent pick for a quarterback or receiver.
You're saying it. I'm just backing your play, Joel.
It's just picking up what you're putting down.
Well, our current quarterback for the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, and Cleveland had him not too long ago. I don't know why it didn't work out with his time in Tampa or in Cleveland, but hey, we were happy to get him.
My future's at, and I'm going to do everything I can, put Cleveland back on top.
You hang up that phone call and you know you're about to line up next to Myles Garrett every day. How does that sound?
I mean, it's such a blessing. He's a fierce competitor. I want to play with guys like that. And yeah, he's the real deal. So,
congratulations, Mason.
Appreciate it.
So we were talking in mock draft world, right?
Yeah, I don't think Cleveland's ever had a top-tier quarterback pick. I mean, Baker Mayfield's probably the highest pick that he was the #1 overall pick. And
Jacksonville took Travis Hunter.
It didn't really work out for him, but since he came to Tampa, he's been really good for us. So
Vegas took about 3 minutes to make their pick, and I'm wondering if it is in fact for Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah, I thought there was a good chance Ashton Jeanty could be gone. They have the opportunity to pick him at this point in time, as well as some offensive tackles out there.
The Jets have been on the clock almost the last 5 minutes for the first pick of the Aaron Glenn administration. Here comes the commissioner with the 6th overall pick.
Even when Browns had a chance at Eli Manning, they picked a fullback over a quarterback.
With the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State.
From the blue turf to silver and black, Ashton Jeanty is
It's a very interesting pick for the Raiders. I mean, it makes sense. I think since they lost Josh Jacobs, they kind of really needed a running back anyways.
One of the running backs he's been talking to for advice is Marshawn Lynch. So this tracks, DJ.
Yeah, you talk about two guys who hate to be tackled. I would put him in that company. Starts out with that unique stance.
So yeah, it looks like the best running back is now going to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Tough situations when you're watching that Boise State tape. But this is the calling card. Again, you've got an unblocked defender. They get free cracks at him, and you can't get him on the ground because of that contact balance. He is just a piece of muscle. There's not a lot of surface to hit on him. You see, again, the contact balance here, always finding a way to get forward. Right foot, right shoulder, able to power through as it's time for Next Gen Stats powered by AWS. You look at these top NGS overall scores and look at the company that he's in there. Those are some incredibly productive running
Yeah, they needed a new running back over cornerbacks, says Phantom Fox.
So one of the fun players to watch. If you had any questions,
No, it's a good pick, running back for them.
kick your feet up on the desk.
I mean, they really needed one. He's one of the best remaining players. It makes sense. They just got a new quarterback in Geno Smith, and they've got a very good offensive team already. So I guess with Pete Carroll as their head coach, that makes sense. I think it's a good pick for them.
In free agency, they went ahead and added to their roster anyway. Added to the offensive line a little bit. They got to figure out Colton Miller at left tackle. But running the football, being tough and physical, building on defense, that's the Pete Carroll way. And he has his bell cow running back to do that as they try and chase down Kansas City.
And remember, Chip Kelly goes down with the Vegas Raiders, and you talk about creative run game, you know, in terms of where are you entering the defense, all of these different, you know, Chip is going to get that run game going. There's no doubt. Here's what I love about Ashton Jeanty is it's, again, kind of like Cam Ward, a bit of a long road. Rich, his military family was in Italy. So
Fox says, wait, Raiders got Smith. Yes, they traded with Seattle earlier this year. Just a couple months ago that they got Geno Smith from Seattle. Which, if you don't know, they hired Pete Carroll, who was the head coach for the Seattle Seahawks not long ago. So they go out of their way. They hire Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll wants his boy Geno Smith from Seattle. So they got a new head coach. They got a new quarterback. Now they got a new running back. And they already have the best tight end in the league right now. So they got a lot of stuff lined up.
Congratulations, Ashton.
Thank you. So there goes Ashton Jeanty. The Jets pick is in, and we're going to get that when we come back from break. Don't stop believing is blaring right now at the Browns draft.
No, Journey, quiet, Journey. Quiet, Journey. No, Journey. Not right now, Journey. Maybe another time, Journey. Don't stop getting me copyright claims. Please don't get me that copyright claim. Let's see. Fox says the Sea Chickens gave up their best starter running back and traded the head coach for a second pick during the first round. Let's see. Gave her their best starting running back. I don't even remember who the starting running back was for the Seattle Seahawks last year. That was oh, I can't remember the guy's name. He was actually not bad. He was just always hurt. I don't even know if that guy's still on the team. It sounds like maybe you're saying they traded him. Whoever that guy was. It was like something the third. Traded head coach for what? Yeah. It was a second round pick for Pete Carroll? Let me see. That seems kind of high even for Pete Carroll. But... Seahawks trade Pete Carroll. What did they did? Was it a number 2? The Seattle Seahawks traded quarterback Geno Smith to Las Vegas in a deal that ran so it was a third round pick for Geno Smith. Actually, no. They didn't trade for Pete Carroll. He was retired, now that I think about it. At least I don't think they had to trade for him. Because I thought Pete Carroll had retired, and people were questioning whether he was actually going to stay retired. And then he just signed with How did they get Pete Carroll? Now I'm curious. They had to have just signed him, because I know he retired and then unretired or something. I don't know. Oh well. Geno's a good player, says Phantom Fox. Yeah, Geno's an interesting quarterback. He can be pretty good at times. He's not really like an amazing quarterback, but he's like about as borderline really good as can be. You know what I mean? I don't think he's anywhere near good enough to get you to a Super Bowl, but you know, he'll get you to the playoffs. He's not a bad quarterback. Oh, back. All right, we're back. We're back, people.
Who's back there still here in Green Bay?
We can't afford a copyright strikes in Skylar, indeed.
Find out who the First pick of the draft.
I can't afford any more hits. One of my videos got blocked, which I'm trying to figure out why. What's up with the stream?
As it's known in Michigan. Just went to the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, why did that happen just now?
Year, the Jets
oh, the Jets are picking. So again, another team I'll talk about, the New York Jets. If you don't know, in New York there are two teams. More in the Jersey area, there's the New York Giants, and then I actually don't know what region the Jets are out of. I think more. I don't know. I'm uneducated when it comes to those areas. But yeah, the Jets are like they're like considered more the main team in New York. They're the most known. Well, everyone knows the Giants, but I think historically the Jets are the more favored team between the two teams, even though the Giants have had more success than them.
Pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Armand Membu.
Tackle.
Missouri. Tackle.
So once again, no tight end. Instead, it is a member.
Again, that's probably not a bad pick. It's generally taking the best offensive lineman or defensive lineman that is there for you is generally a great decision.
Tackle there for the Jets. I thought this decision would be tight end tackle, as you said, Rich. I think they went Membu, who's very explosive and easy bender and can redirect, because they like the tight ends that could be available on day 2 versus the tackles that would be available. But this is an excellent athlete. You see him in pass protection. He's very quick.
And especially with them just getting Justin Fields, one of the criticisms of Justin is that his time in Chicago, he never really had very good offensive lines and was constantly getting hit when he was there. So maybe this will help the Jets keep Justin Fields from taking much of a beating. You know, I think this is a very good decision for the Jets. I think it's a very good pickup. Try and protect your quarterback. The Jets are the stepdad of the Giants, the one they don't need and will openly take.
They're body doubles for one another, what they look like.
So we heard "Don't Stop Believin'." Then James Gandolfini's favorite team went, "Hold on, wait for it."
I'm not sure what you mean, Phantom, but I agree with you in terms of success. In terms of success, the Giants have been far more successful than the Jets. But again, I think the Jets are the favorite team, like, for New Yorkers is what I mean. It's kind of similar to, like, if you were to ask New Yorkers what basketball team they prefer, the Brooklyn Nets or they were the New Jersey Nets. But it's like, do you like the Brooklyn Nets or do you like the New York Knicks? More often than not, a New Yorker is probably going to tell you they're definitely going to tell you they like the Knicks over the Nets. Now, does that mean there aren't Nets fans? No, there absolutely is. But although I don't know, maybe that's not a good comparison because I do think there are far more New York Giants fans than there are Brooklyn Nets fans.
The future is here.
But I mean, that's the kind of like
more than 100 years.
Dynamic they have going on there, where like the Jets are the more popular team, but the Giants are far more successessful. Hey, Robot Slayer himself's in chat. Robot Slayer said, "Yeah, my father could go on and on about the team." So. Yeah, New York football is an interesting dynamic between the two teams. Oh, why am I playing this?
Why can't we say we're the best?
I don't know why I'm playing a commercial. Let me put music on. If you guys want to know why I'm not playing the stream, it's because I couldn't figure out how to get it up on... Apparently YouTube TV they've done some magic to make sure you cannot stream. Not that I want to stream fully, because I don't want to get hit for copyright, but I would love to periodically show you guys clips of what's happening. Made it a bit late, but I am here, says Robot. Hey, I appreciate it. Once again, I had no expectations that you guys would be interested in... seeing some sports content. Ew, sports. But again, this is a one-time thing. I'm not gonna. If you want to know how they typically do the NFL draft in terms of when they go live, how it's recorded, it typically is a 3-day event. So they always do the first round on a Thursday night. So the first round, picks 1 through 32, happen on Thursday night. Then they do picks, or I don't know, it's like 33 through whatever. I think it's 33 through 70 something. I can't remember. But yeah, that would be rounds. They do rounds 2 through 3. The next 2 rounds, 2 and 3, are done on Friday night. And then typically on Saturday morning, they do all the rest of the picks. So they'll do rounds 4 through 7 early off in the Saturday. So that's typically how they do the draft, pretty much. So it's, yeah, like I said, it's a 3-day event. So it'll be first round, second and third round, and then rounds 4 through 7. And then if you want to know, they every year, the last person picked in the, what is, oh, I forgot the name. There's always a special name they give to the very last player picked. It's Mr. What is the last pick they typically call them? What is it, Mr. something? Last pick in NFL draft. What do they call it? Mr. Irrelevant. There you go. Yeah, the very last person picked typically gets deemed Mr. Irrelevant because it's like, you just barely made the cut, buddy. Old pal.
In the east and northeast entrances of this.
All right, so you guys got to root for me now. Or you got to be on my side. The Carolina Panthers are on the what's the word? I can't think of it. Oh, they're up. The Carolina Panthers are in the NFC South, which is the division that my Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in, which means they are the enemy. I can't stand the Carolina Panthers. So we've got to root that they draft a punter right now. we gotta sit here and really hope that they draft a kicker, or kicker, or something else, something totally not useful to them. I can't. If you want to know what other teams are in our division that I can't stand, it's which actually the New Orleans Saints draft right after the Panthers, so we have 2 back-to-back picks of teams I can't stand. So we got the Panthers, the Saints, and the Falcons. All of them can kick rocks. I'm going to bet on this one, said Skyler. No, you can't bet on this one. Don't bet on the Panthers. You got to not bet on the Panthers.
So if they go in that direction, you're saying, hey, we're going to give you one more. We'll give you another opportunity. Maybe they give them someone on offense, but I really thought it would be a defensive pick. Mason Graham, he's off the board. Jaylen Walker.
Kind of funny, I'm originally from Oregon, and I root for the Pass and the Cowboys, says Phantom.
With the 8th overall pick. First one for the Panthers tonight.
Boo.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Teteroa McMillan.
Oh.
Wide receiver, Arizona.
Yes, they drafted somebody. I have no idea who that is. That could be good, could be bad.
Who is technically the second wide receiver chosen tonight.
I don't know if he's good or not. I haven't heard of him. 6'4", that's a great height.
Coming out, and he is
That's a really great height for a receiver, 6'4".
Well, Dave Canales got this job based off what he did in Tampa Bay with a big receiver like Mike Evans and that explosive offense they had there. So he goes out and gets one as a head coach and gets Tet McMillan, who is very long and rangy.
Okay, that could be a great pick. He's got great dynamics for a wide receiver. He's very tall, looks lengthy. It's a great catch. Great thing is receivers don't typically have a lot of success early on. It typically takes them a little bit of time to kind of get into it, so I'm not worried about this guy. Not immediately worried about this guy, but he could be good down the line. Much as I enjoy hearing my father talk about sports, I have no idea what most of this means, says Robot. Well, I'll do my best to explain everything I can.
Huge production. I mean, huge production.
All right, I already don't like him. Get out of here.
2,700 yards.
No, I'm kidding. I hope this fellow well. Panther sweat so hard doing this right now. They just made the worst choice. You never know. Oh, whatever. You acted like you wanted to go to the Panthers. Shut up.
Backside receiver, hey, take this play off. You know, and so I don't like it either when I see it on film. But I'm telling you, these guys, some of them are coached to do that. In these
acting like he want. There ain't nobody in this draft that's like, oh, I want to go to the Panthers.
But this guy in a 50-50 situation, CD, I don't know if there's anybody better.
Shorter quarterback, bigger targets. Last year was Xavier Leggett. They need him to come along and play better. McMillan, another big, wide-ranging target for the shorter quarterback Bryce Young. A little more forgiving as they throw it downfield.
He probably did his fan. Oh, want to go to Panthers? Maybe. I'm kidding. He might have.
I'll tell you what I love about this, guys, is I believe he could be a true X receiver. And what we mean by that is that solo guy on the backside. And nothing makes football easier for a young quarterback than to look out there and go, oh, I got one-on-one. I got my guy over there. I don't have to overthink this. I can go back and play pitch and catch. So I like this pick for the young quarterback.
Hometown boys always want hometown team. Oh, did they say he's from Carolina?
To primetime.
I didn't see that. Possible. You could be right on that.
Tetaroa, we know who you are on the football field, but you are letting everybody know who you are with an homage to your heritage tonight. Why was this important to you?
Oh, man. You know, everything I do is not only to glorify him, the man above, but, you know, to put on for my Polynesian people. So shout out to all my Polys, man. We did it.
You see this Panthers fan base right here. They got a... Come on. Come on, man. They got a big face of Bryce Young back there. What kind of magic are you guys going to make?
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, the Cali connection is going to be something different, I promise.
Congratulations, Tetaroa.
Thank you so much.
Boy, it ain't going to happen against Tampa Bay. It's going to happen against some other team.
Poised to make the number 9 overall
Boo,
pick.
Saints.
Derek Carr's future is very much in doubt to the New Orleans Saints. Dealing with
Boo,
a
Saints.
still has not yet made a decision. To consulting with several experts whether or not he's going to have
Could this be
surgery.
Shadur Sanders?
Do not know if he's going to be ready or if he's going to play at all in the 2025 season. That brings us around to the quarterbacks. They did all the homework on the quarterbacks. Be surprised if Shadur Sanders was the pick here, but several other quarterbacks they like in this round.
Well, there's Shadur at the crib, as Prime would call it, in Texas. Why, Ian, would you say you'd be surprised if it's Shadur Sanders with this pick here?
Rich, just based on my conversations, either it's the longest con of all time or the Saints liked Tyler Shook and Jackson Dart just a little higher just based on the overall package than Shadur Sanders.
Thank you very much, Ian. Your sense on this?
Well, I talked to a lot of folks around this quarterback situation. I try and see who's doing the most work. Now, it's one thing with
I'm nervous. The Patriots are going to, or Saints are probably going to draft a quarterback here, I think.
If you're going to take a quarterback and put your job in his hands, teams do a full-scale workup on them, and it just didn't seem to me like the Saints were doing that on these guys to take one this early in the draft. So I thought they were more of a day 2, second round at that point in time.
Okay, he's saying they may not.
But just talking to people all around this kind of ecosystem of quarterbacks is what I'm getting at. That was not the vibe they were getting.
Last time I heard someone ignore a quarterback so publicly, where the quarterback was shocked that he was taken by the team, Jay Cutler. Yeah. When Mike Shanahan ordered his people to stay away, he did all the work.
All right, y'all, we got to root. We got to root again. Give me all your energy.
Well, Bears are
I am Goku.
Time for the
I am summoning my Spirit Bomb. I need your guys' energy to prevent the Saints from getting a good player right now. Send me your energy. Animals of the earth, people of the planet.
With the 9th
Send me your energy.
2025 NFL Draft.
Not a good
New
player.
Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle, Texas.
Okay. All right, he's probably gonna be a really good player, but I don't have to worry about a quarterback right now.
Because there's not a lot of them that you can count on to come in and start and play right away. Last year, the Saints got Talisi Fuaga.
He's probably going to be a really good player.
Now they get the other one taken care of. Think about Kellen Moore just winning the Super Bowl with a team that's
go any team but Panthers his robot.
So not a surprise at all to see them.
I hate to say it, but the Panthers, honestly, they're not the team I hate the most in our division. That would be the Saints. The Saints is the team I can't stand.
And notice they said
actually the Panthers are probably the team I dislike the least out of the 3 between the Falcons, Saints, and Panthers. Definitely, if I were to root my dislike, it would be the Saints, then the Falcons, then the Panthers.
But
definitely, those are like 3 of the teams I hate the most in the entire league. or I
He's
can't
big,
stand,
he's got
I should
those
say.
broad shoulders in the run game. He can get that initial movement. Want to see him stay connected and stay attached a little bit more.
The cheating mixtates is Phantom. Well, I don't know if I'd call them cheaters, but although they were in trouble for Bountygate years ago when they had Drew Brees, so that's why I said Chaz hates the Saints. Noted. I hate the Saints so much that I don't know if I remember telling you guys during my stream the other day when I went to New Orleans for that vacation. I can't stand them so much. I wore my Bucs jersey everywhere when I was up there just to be annoying.
Listen, Kelvin Banks Jr. He's a guy.
Granted, I love New Orleans. The city itself is great.
Sarkisian, the head coach at Texas, about Kelvin Banks, he would say if everybody on our team took care of their business like Kelvin did, we would be good to go. So he's a great locker room guy. And
Pick is in for the Bears. I gotta text my brother.
We just saw on our screens. You know,
that's the third quarterback spot.
Yes,
seen punt on quarterback.
This is big in that regard.
The next one appears to be 21.
For everything we're talking about with New Orleans.
Yeah, my brother lives in Chicago and he's a Bears fan, so I typically root for the Bears a little bit.
Meanwhile, the Bears pick is in, and they do have every tight end available for them to choose.
Right about now, Funk Soul Brother, check it out now.
Right now.
The Funk Soul Brother.
90 seconds in. Hey, there's our colleague Colleen Wolf, along with Laura Rutledge with an announcement.
Because boy, do we have an announcement for you, live from the heart of the NFL Draft right here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's right, Colleen. The schedule release marks a pivotal moment.
What is happening here? What are you?
Calendar.
Well, why are they on?
The stage for a thrilling season. Yeah, this is when we get to geek out over every single game and bye week, the primetime revenge and rematches, those late season divisional dates that end up deciding playoff spots, and who's playing at Lambeau in December? Ooh, we're gonna have to find out.
Ooh, I forgot. Yeah.
Soon, okay?
Whoever comes up on stage, they're gonna get booed because the Bears and Packers are hated rivals.
We're gonna find that out as well. Let's not forget the expanding lineup of international games as well as Christmas.
I almost think the Bears need a defensive player here.
It's the best. Yes, because nothing says holiday cheer like watching your team destroy another. So, without further ado, everybody, get it together, mark your calendars, set your alarms. The schedule will be dropped on May 14th. There we go. Lock it in. We can't wait. You can tweet it out, tell everybody, and don't miss it. Be sure to check out all the great content from the NFL team sites, the club's social
The Saints and the Steelers have some
channels,
questionable wins, says Phantom.
into NFL Network as well as ESPN. So much full coverage of the thrilling 2025
I don't know. I wouldn't say they're questionable. Maybe it depends on the game.
basically here at this point. Guys, get ready.
The only time I'd ever question the Saints was during the whole Bountygate thing back when Brett Favre played for the Vikings.
I know what I'm doing on May 14th.
That's the only questionable, and they got in trouble for that. So Bears need a defensive tackle, says Phantom. But yeah, I could see that. Here's the boos from the Green Bay fans.
Didn't even need Clay Matthews.
Here at the first ever draft in the home of the Packers.
Bear down, bear down. I'm a Bears fan. I gotta root for the Bears.
You know, did they trade up for Genti?
Let's go Bears.
They might have attempted, didn't work out. If they did, they have every tight end available. What do you think, Daniel?
Well, the tackles are gone. So this
Let's go Bears. Let's go. Again, I normally wouldn't root for the Bears, but
You mentioned it too, but you said tight
Chicago's like a second home to me, so I gotta hope.
Yeah, but you mentioned tight
I gotta root for them.
This will be fun with the Bears
this makes perfect sense.
Make a Bears
Ben
pick in
Johnson.
Green Bay.
Yesterday, the NFL family lost a true legend, Bears Hall of Famer Steve McMichael. My heart is with the McMichael family during this incredibly difficult time. Misty, please know that you are in our thoughts and prayers. Mongo's remarkable contributions to the game and
Fox says the Steelers had their quarterback pulled down. He slid the ball from under his body
generations to come.
to a touchdown during a Super Bowl. Are you talking about Roethlisberger or before?
With the fourth pick in the 1975 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selected one of Steve McMichael's teammates and closest friends, Walter Payton.
Walter
running
Payton.
back, Jackson State. Walter would go on to rush for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns over 13 seasons.
Roethlisberger says
with the
Phantom. Yeah,
Chicago
I'm
Bears.
sure.
As you heard earlier, the NFL continues to honor Sweetness, not only for his performance and excellence on the field, but also his commitment to give back to his community with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft...
Boo, or no, why am I booing? Go Bears. I don't know why I just heard the boos and I reacted.
Colston Loveland.
Oh, tight ends.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's Colston Loveland, not Tyler Warren. That's a bit of a surprise.
I had them right next to each other on my list, so they're both excellent players, different styles. He's a smooth mover, kind of remind me a little bit of Mark Andrews, but quite honestly, you could put Sam Laporta
Oh man, they are going full on offense in Chicago, man.
Mover, he creates separation down the field with his routes. You'll see
Wow.
these skills again. Just look at these easy windows that he creates for the quarterback.
Wow, man, Bears are gonna, like I said, the Bears are gonna try and put together the best offense they can, because that's really what they really didn't need more offensive players. But hey, man, they're trying to put up points.
A lot of 12 personnel in Detroit. They're going to do a lot of 12 personnel in Chicago. 2 tight ends will be on the field.
No doubt about it. Ben Johnson calling card. Time now for player comparison presented by Homes.com. We've done your homework, and I mentioned in our pregame show, this is my favorite player in the draft. I love Colston Loveland. Everything about him. I comped him to Tyler Eifert. Before injuries, Eifert 2015, 13 touchdown catches and was unstoppable in the red zone. You notice the ability to split out, run routes, beat people one-on-one. We saw it from Eifert. We're seeing the same thing from Loveland. Look at him run this wheel route against Illinois in those old school red Grange uniforms in that big game. Look at him go up and catch the football there. Watch him get inside into suddenness and breaking away, Joel Klatt. You got to see this guy play. You called a lot of his games. Just think if he had consistent quarterbacking play this last year at Michigan, he would have been dynamite.
He produced with substandard, not even.
Yeah, like I said, Bears are going full on offense. They drafted the best quarterback, rookie quarterback. Well, who they thought was going to be the best rookie quarterback, but he ended up not being too bad. Was Caleb Williams. So they got a pretty good rookie quarterback right now, or a second-year quarterback. They got one of the better wide receiver groups in the league. Got one of the best young tight ends possibly in the league. Offensive line is still going to be a weakness for them. I'm surprised they didn't go that direction, but maybe they're just giving him easy, yeah, like they're saying, easy completions. So hoping that maybe that helps with helping the offensive line a little bit.
And then 1 second later, as soon as it's over.
And guess what? The boos will continue, because next it's the 49ers and then the Dallas Cowboys, who the Packers fans don't really like very much either. Dolphins and Colts right behind them, here from Green Bay.
Again, that's kind of a surprising pick. I think it's a great pick for Chicago. So how's everyone doing? I've realized I haven't been interacting with you guys too much. How's everyone in the stream doing? Hopefully, what do you think about me doing this sports stream? Once again, I wouldn't expect any more sports streams. This just happens to be like my one favorite event of the year when it comes to football. It's something about the draft. I don't know. It's like this is I don't know if you guys can tell, but a lot of my channel has to do with nostalgia. And something me and my dad used to always do was we used to love watching the NFL draft. And I don't know, maybe this makes me remember watching football with Daddy-O. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it for me to like stream like actual sport. Like you're not gonna be seeing me stream actual games and like Super Bowls. I don't find that interesting. But I find it more interesting here because I can like. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more to this. There's, the actual like digging into the players and, I can actually explain the teams. I kind of like this. I like being able to talk about it a little bit more. I'm still laughing about the poor picks being chosen, says Phantom. Which poor picks? About the poor picks. Or are you just talking about these teams that aren't very good because they're drafting so low? I think it's neat, says Robot. Agreed. I think this is more... I don't know. I always like this event because there's so much to it. You know, it's just like... And this is just more... You don't know what's going to happen with these players. Some could be good, some could not, some could stink, some could be better than you think. You know, you never know. I will say, for tomorrow, if you guys could throw me some suggestions for an online game. I just realized I haven't actually began to look into what we're going to stream tomorrow. I mean, I know I could continue to play Sonic, but Friday is supposed to be our online game stream. So let me actually, now that I'm curious, let me take a look at Game Pass and see what we got. Boop, 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 boop. I love this Wii music, man. Old school Wii music is legit. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Alright, so what do we got for online games? Let's take a look at Game Pass PC. I haven't looked at that in a hot minute. Actually, let me go back. It looks like the stream's back. We'll look in a second.
Tyler Warren dropped to them at 12 if they so choose.
All right, so the 49ers.
Because he's sitting in the green room and the Niners are
49ers have been one of the better teams over the last, you know, probably 10, 15 years. But they had like a string of very good years, and now they are down to, they've been struggling the last year or so, which was kind of surprising because they were just in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So they need a lot. Yeah, they need a lot to kind of get them to bounce back into the favored teams, you know, category for the 49ers.
Please direct your attention to the
Again, because historically, the last several 10 to 15 years, they're one of the best teams, but this sudden last year or two, they've had a bit of a downslope. So they got to kind of correct what the problem is. And I think a lot of their problems has been like defense. And also injuries on offense. So it's really the Niners could go in any direction here. I know John Lynch, former Buccaneer John Lynch, is still their GM.
Back to you in Green Bay.
My guess is they're probably going to draft a defensive player here.
So here comes the commissioner.
Because I know they've lost a lot of, and they get hurt a lot. They have a lot of guys that get hurt.
Chance of USA mixed in with the requisite boos for the Niners here in Packers country.
Thank you to our men and women who serve in the United States military for your sacrifices to defend our country's freedom. With the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Michael Williams, defensive end.
Okay, I kind of figured they were going to go defensive end.
Daniel?
Yeah, Nick Bosa gets a running mate on the opposite side there. Leonard Floyd is gone. He departed in free agency. They also lost Hargrave, the defensive tackle. So they needed to invest, I thought, either in the offensive line or the
6'5", 260. That's a good size for a defensive end. You want them to be big and to have good arm length, because arm length on the offensive line is important because you have to like hold the other player at a distance. And he played for Georgia, so I mean, automatically, if he's coming out of Georgia and he's a defensive line player, he's probably going to be really good. Georgia's one of the best SEC-oriented defenses. They put out defensive players like pancakes, you know.
Texas saw the flashes. Yes, they did. There was those flashes. They just weren't consistent. I think it was health related.
So like I was saying, he's from Georgia. He's got really long, and he's only 260. He's probably going to be a really good player. 260 weight is very good for defense, because a lot of those the rushers, they got to be super agile, super fast.
With their scheme, they will loosen him up. They'll let him rush a little bit.
That's gonna be a really good player.
He'll have a runway where all that explosive power will show really, really well.
You know, he was versatile for Kirby Smart, but again, I think that worked against him because he was better when he was wide in that wide 9. That ankle injury definitely slowed him down. But if you talk to the people around Georgia, they will say he was a great locker room guy. And you know that John Lynch loves those type of guys. And listen, can you go wrong with Georgia defenders in the recent vintage? I just don't think you can go wrong.
And you could see, having lost Greenlaw and Hufanga to the Broncos in free agency, they add a piece up front, an edge rusher for Robert Saleh, who's the defensive coordinator there again. So the Dallas Cowboys, stop me if you've heard this before. Jerry Jones took his time. They were the first team to take it under a minute tonight in the first round, and they're celebrating and high-fiving. Listen, I think the Cowboys would have been ecstatic if you told them coming into the draft.
Oh, boo. All right, everyone. We got to boo the Cowboys here.
Walker would all be on the board for them to choose, and they might be going somewhere else than all
the Cowboys, for me, are a very annoying team, considering they consider themselves America's team, when they haven't been very good for... Yeah, I don't think they've won a Super Bowl in, what, like 30 years at this point or something?
Dallas Cowboy is, and here come the Packers fans to greet him.
Plus, I don't really like their owner. He seems like a jerkwad.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
Well, that's probably a really good... It's, again, when you're this high in the draft, when you're this low or high, I don't know, when you're at this point in the draft, drafting offensive linemen generally is not a bad thing. That's probably a very good pick. 6'4", 320, guard. He's probably going to be a good player. Fanfox says, you what? Yeah, I'm not a Cowboys fan.
What does he do in the offensive line meeting when he says, hey, Tyler, and Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, and Tyler Smith?
That's a great pick. Yeah, I agree with you, Phantom. That's going to be a very good pick. Again, drafting offensive linemen, this is not a... Generally, it's not... chances are he's going to be a very good player. And he played at Alabama. Alabama makes lots of good offensive linemen.
He's a big man. I was asked him, what would you tell the teams if they asked you about Tyler Booker? They said, if he gets on the airplane after he gets picked, and they were to tell him, hey, they changed the schedule, we have a game tomorrow, we just emailed you the playbook. When the plane landed, he'd have the entire playbook memorized, and he'd be able to start the next day. I mean, they love this kid at Alabama.
New Canaan, Connecticut, to IMG Academy. Academics a big part
Again,
of
the
what
biggest
he
problem with
does.
the Cowboys, the Cowboys are one of the teams... They're one of the best drafting teams in the league. They more often than not they hit on the players that they choose.
And the way he hits on people and does things. And DJ, when you're talking about all these Tylers on this offensive line, I'm just going to tell you guys.
But the biggest problem with the Cowboys, and it's not something you would expect for an organization, but the biggest problem is their leadership. Is that they tip, and you hear it a lot when other people talk about their schemes and their decision making. Is that the owner has, no, I don't even want to say a bit of an ego. He's a huge ego, and he gets heavily involved with decision making, not just decision making with the team, but decision making with like on the field stuff, which is a huge problem when
ironically with the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't think he's all that smart when it comes to that stuff. Typically, you know, that's the purpose. That's why an owner will hire intelligent GMs and intelligent head coaches, because those people typically know a lot more. But the problem is that it seems historically in the last couple of decades, people consider the Cowboys or blame the Cowboys for not like empowering their head coaches and stuff. So it's like
I'm super excited. I'm blessed to be a Cowboy.
Phantom Fox says the boys' owner is a grade 10 gutter snipe. Yeah, he's not a...
You did not allow a sack on your quarterback this last season.
He garners entirely too much attention considering how little success his team has had in recent memory.
I'm just so excited to be a Cowboy.
again, when you're not the person that knows everything, that knows the little things and knows about all the intricacies of the things happening on the field, you shouldn't be making decisions for what's happening on the field. And again, I don't know for sure. I'm not a media member, but from what I've read and heard from people involved in the league, they say that he goes out of his way to hire head coaches that he knows he can kind of tell them what to do and dictate how they do things, which in the NFL, that is just not a good way of running your organization. Your head coach, they always say in almost any company, business, or if you're a manager or an owner, you always want to hire somebody that knows more than you, because unless you're an expert in your field, like most of the time a CEO is not, like, to be honest, but that's why typically it's smart for you to hire somebody that knows more than you, and then you give them power and allow them to run things as they see fit. And unfortunately, it sounds like that's kind of been the opposite thing. And a lot of people think that's why, even back in the day when the Cowboys were really good, when they had Jimmy Johnson, which that was like the Cowboys, the Cowboys era in the 90s. When they were at their best, when they had guys like Deion Sanders, Troy Aikman, Jimmy Johnson as the head coach, people even felt like that was a large reason why a guy like Jimmy Johnson didn't last very long with the Cowboys, because they ended up getting rid of him. And a lot of people, and they got rid of him during like their elite years, like when they were winning Super Bowls, which is kind of crazy to think of. So that's why I meant, like, a lot of people consider him very egotistical, getting too involved with the coach, not giving the coach power, because
it's the best.
It's not surprising he's still doing that now, because he was doing that when the team was really good. Like, how many smart business people or smart CEOs, when their organization is elite and isn't doing the right things, how many people up and fire? I forgot my music's playing. How many people up and fire the person running the organization as the head coach? You know what I mean? It's like, if you're winning Super Bowls and your team's predominantly, they're in the playoffs every year, why would you fire your head coach? I don't know. Maybe I'm going on. I know too much. I'm too deep in the weeds on the Cowboys, I guess. But again, I hate to say it, I really don't have a problem with the fan base or the team itself. For me, it's more some of the mentality around the Cowboys stuff, and especially the owner. My thing is I think he's entirely too vocal and loud, just again considering the lack of success their team has had in recent memory. But that's just my opinion. Typically, you're going to want to quiet down if you're not as if your team isn't as good. And also, like, people have been speculating that, like, the Cowboys are a huge team. There should be no reason that they can't find good quality head coaches. And that's why it's so suspicious that, like, some of the head coaches they've hired, like nobody thought Jason Garrett, if you guys remember Jason Garrett, nobody thought he was like an excellent hire at the time, and it was like, why are you hiring Jason Garrett? And now you hired Mike McCarthy is the current head coach, former head coach of Green Bay, and it's like why Mike McCarthy again? Like, McCarthy had won one Super Bowl with the Packers back in the day. Probably was at 2011, somewhere around there, when he won, 2009, when he won with the Packers. But it's like, since then, the Packers haven't really had, well, I don't say they haven't had success. They've been one of the better teams, but like, a lot of people credit, I mean, they've had success. I take that back, saying the Packers haven't had success. Even though they haven't won a Super Bowl since that one Super Bowl with McCarthy and Rodgers. But what I mean, though, is that a lot of people that, like, the Cowboys brought this guy in, Mike McCarthy, for his success with the Packers, but a lot of people credit that success because they had one of the best quarterbacks in the league at the time, which was Aaron Rodgers. So it's like, it's a little bit like, well, how good was Mike McCarthy? How pivotal was he in terms of the success of that team? I don't know.
21st overall.
It's like, why exactly was he
Well, we look at the needs. You're looking
a big
at
hire for the Cowboys at the time? I didn't understand them hiring him when you had guys like Bill Belichick were out there, Pete Carroll's, any number of head coaches. We had Mike Vrabel's. You had all these like super smart, but they were super smart. And what makes them different than a Mike McCarthy? All those people that I just named, those three and many more, very headstrong head coaches, which is why a lot of people think is why he hired Mike McCarthy. Go Dolphins.
The Miami Dolphins select Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle.
Why do the Dolphins always select defensive linemen? I don't know a team that drafts more defensive linemen than the Dolphins.
Since he was a true freshman, going up there and meeting with the Wolverine coaches.
I gotta root for the Dolphins again as a Florida boy.
All the way back to Mike McDonald and then Jesse Minter.
But again, the whole hiring, the Cowboys' decision making is so odd. They draft incredibly well, which is what makes it more sad for the Cowboys, honestly, that they are an elite drafting organization. I don't put that on Jerry Jones. I put that on like his son and the other people that run the organization. But they know how to draft players. But the problem is that they get too involved with the on-the-field organization and on the field stuff.
He's a great locker room guy, and DJ, I think he could be one of the premier defensive
Get better
tackles
Wi-Fi. Why is
in the
this so
National
bad?
Football League in the coming years.
And certainly Christian Wilkins walked to Vegas. This fills a need, wouldn't you say?
I'll tell you what, this is going to be fun, Rich. I mean, when you watch him and you think about Anthony Weaver as a defensive coordinator who played for the Baltimore Ravens with Haloti Ngata, he's got his Haloti Ngata, and that's one of the guys Wink would talk about him being similar to.
It's probably a very good pick for the Cowboys. It's just like, again, I feel like they draft defensive linemen like crazy.
Running back as a rusher. There's not a lot of imagination. Just buckle up. He's going right through your chest. And when you have those edge rushers that they need to keep healthy in Miami, he's going to take away the escape hatch. He's going to be able to press the pocket and allow those guys time to win on the edges.
And Rich is right. It obviously fills a need. But who's got the best offensive line in the AFC East? Maybe in the AFC. Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So if you're going to want to go toe-to-toe and chest-to-chest and battle them, you got some people in there. As you mentioned, Rich, Wilkins no longer there. Kenneth Grant, go in there and plant your feet and start battling those big guys from upstate New York.
All right, Indianapolis
The
Colts.
campus at Michigan, he should recognize the name on his paycheck, since Stephen Ross's name is all over that.
Let's see, what do the Colts need, in my opinion? They're a team I don't know a heck of a whole lot about. But if you don't know, the Indianapolis Colts, just a couple of years ago, in a very early first-round pick, they drafted Anthony Richardson out of, where did he play? Anthony Richardson, oh, Florida, that's right. For my Gators, how'd I forget?
Listen, we were
but yeah, so
Loveland's name and a lot of mock drafts here.
a lot of people are questioning whether they go. I don't think they're going to go quarterback because they can't give up on Anthony Richardson. But they need offensive linemen, right?
He's the best player. He's a terrific player, and Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, they need this pass-catching tight end.
I believe it was the A-team.
Oh, so they're speculating it could be tight end here?
This is need and
Was that Hannibal or was that face?
With the 14th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts
I feel like they need O-line.
Tyler Warren.
No, it's that tight end they were just talking about.
He wears Dallas.
Well, Dallas Clark let him wear the number?
Yeah, I know, right? Here comes.
Oh, that's right. Number 44 got drafted by the Colts.
Fun player to watch. If you watch college football,
If you don't know, he said Dallas Clark was an all-time great tight end for the Colts back in their heyday with Peyton Manning. Which I don't know if that number is retired or not for Dallas, but yeah, Dallas Clark was a very good tight end, and he had Peyton Manning throwing to him. That was during the Colts' heyday when they were battling with teams like the Patriots and stuff.
Again, watch him with the ball in his hands. He can run over you. He can jump over the top of you. The quarterbacks are going to love him.
Phantom Fox says the Colts boo. Well, your ties to the Patriots. That's probably why I'm guessing you're booing the Colts. That was one of my favorite eras of watching football, was seeing teams like the Colts and Patriots kind of go at it. Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady was a great matchup.
Well, not to disparage their wide receiver core, but their wide receiver core was non-existent. And so the focal point of the pass defense was always on Warren, which means that they needed to be creative. And they were able to do that. And they snapped it to him, handed it to him, pitched it to him, screened it to him, sent him down the seam. In every different way you could possibly get the ball to 44, they were getting the ball to 44, and yet he was always natural and comfortable in those
All right, we're getting
situations,
close to my
and that's
Bucks pick.
rare. That's why he reminds
We are,
me a
what,
little bit of Travis
5 picks
Kelce.
away,
He's
4
just
picks
comfortable
away?
no matter what on the football field.
And Travis Kelce was a high school quarterback as well.
Look at those kids at the Tyler Warren draft party. And speaking of kids, this is him in the Little League World Series.
I'm going to need a birth certificate.
His birth certificate was laminated by his parents because everyone asked.
He was the Danny Almonte of this team. I'm going to go more. He looks more like Andy Reid in the punt, pass, and kick back in the day.
You guys know darn well when he showed up, his parents just
Beta
pulled out
Fox
a
says the Pats
laminated
Colts
one. We
rivalry
know
is
you're
strong
gonna
when the
ask.
Colts are the
Here
worst.
it is.
I don't hate the Colts. I like those Colts teams.
Yeah, I know we always want to label these guys.
It was more fun that the Patriots had a rival. Like, I didn't think it was.
Some of these guys are just what we call football players.
I don't think it would have been as fun seeing the Patriots do what they did if they didn't have a team like the Colts to kind of battle with.
Whatever you ask him to do, he's got the ability to do that.
Some of those
A big
playoff
guy,
games
but
are
with
were
soft hands,
legendary.
run after the catch. I think this
And
is
regular
a home
season,
run
I should
for the
say.
Indianapolis Colts.
So we go to break. A lot of Big Ten players.
Man, those Colt teams were crazy good. They had let's see, who did they have? They had, well, of course, they had Peyton. Then they had Dallas Clark and Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. Who else they had? Oh, yeah, they had Jeff Saturday on the O line, and then running back. Who did they have? I remember they had Joseph Adai for a little bit. Great players. And then defense, they had Bob Sanders, I remember, and Keith Brackett, and Dwight Freeney, of course. They had a lot of good players on those. Vinatieri, great kicker. Also, who can forget the great... Oh, no, I was going to say Pat McAfee, but I think he was a little later. I don't think Pat McAfee went there until... That was more like the Andrew Luck era. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed watching those matchups between the Colts and Patriots. All right, so what else do we got going on, Chia? Anything in the Discord? Oh, I heard about this. Tim posted about this weird Katy Perry thing. I actually heard about that. Boop 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 boop. Do 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 do. Ba 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 ba. Oh shoot, I forgot. Oh boo! Once again, boo. We got the Falcons are on. Boo Falcons, get out of here. Garbo team. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Fan of Fox says, you just happen to be humming the Wii Shop channel. I think I have it playing in the background. Alright, so I'm not seeing much for online gaming for Game Pass. I wonder if I could turn to Steam. I could look through my Steam catalog. Boop, boop, boop. Ooh, you know what? Oh, I mean, that's not an online game. But I'm looking on Game Pass, and I didn't realize the OG StarCraft is on there. Ooh, that's tempting. I know that's not an online game. Maybe I should stick. Man, playing some old school StarCraft sounds fun. Alright, hold on. I'm almost done with the catalog. Anything else? Alright, yeah, there's really not much for online games. I didn't realize how little online games Game Pass has.
We know. So
right, back to it.
Last year was just the stunner, right? Of the first round that they went quarterback after.
Yeah, Falcons last year, they're a more talented team, but they had their quarterback Kirk Cousins, who got hurt, or not got hurt. He got hurt the previous year, but he had a kind of a down year, and they drafted a rookie quarterback last year very highly. So you're not going to see a quarterback here, but you're. I don't think you're going to see offense either, because they've been drafting a ton of offensive players the last couple of years. This has got to be a defensive player.
Can we do it again with that need being met for Atlanta? It's right there.
Boo.
Here's the opportunity.
Exactly. The two best players available fit the specific need of those teams. This is
you don't have to outguess yourself, right? It's right there. If that's who you have rated, this is a chance to go get them.
Pick us in, coach to owner. Conversation happening right now.
Raheem Morris, traitor to the Buccaneers.
Arizona is close to
used to be our head coach. I don't dislike Raheem, but he did not have a good tenure for us.
Through the first round. Still haven't gotten another quarterback selected since first overall.
They need a kicker, said Phantom. I agree with you.
I'm just looking at this with Jalen Walker. Not only
I think they should draft the best kicker that's there.
But I think back to Houston. Now Houston did it in one draft. They got C.J. Stroud. They got Will Anderson. They got great players at positions of need, and they were leaders of each side of the ball.
Stop rooting for them, this dude. They need the worst players. They don't need better players.
Offense and defense of the Atlanta Falcons.
Remember, those guys were named captains right out of the gate.
If I'm the Falcons, I would draft defense. They need a lot of defensive help.
I know.
We'll see. Maybe. Let's see what they pick.
With the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker, defensive end, Georgia.
Okay. That's probably a really good pick for them.
I mean, look, the rest of my mock draft, I'm going to probably hide under my bed, but this one I got right. So, I mean, I thought there was a chance he could drift a little bit, and he fell right to the Atlanta Falcons.
That's a good pick for them. I couldn't fault them for taking one of the best linebackers available.
Here to the Atlanta Falcons. This is someone who reminded me a little of Dante Hightower. If you remember, he could play off the ball, he could play on the ball. He was disruptive no matter where Kirby Smart decided to line him up. For a guy who's only 6'1", he plays so much bigger than that. He can set the edge against those big 6'5", 300-pound tackles. You want to rush him off the edge, he can win. He's got legit, when he's healthy, 4.4 speed coming off the edge. He can close in a big, big way.
Yeah, Jalen Walker, like I said, that's probably a really good pick. They historically have had trouble stopping us on offense and stopping some of the other teams in the league on offense. So I just didn't. Again, I'm not rooting for them, but as looking at what they needed and what they have so much talent on the offense. I just didn't think it makes sense for them to continue just to draft another offensive player. They gotta fix their defense, really.
So there is a lot of excitement in that room for a guy that fits a major need from right there in their hometown.
And we have another guy who's still on the board.
Oh, I didn't think about it. Yeah, Jalen Walker's going from Georgia to Georgia. He's staying right in the same state.
They're off-the-ball linebackers who can move to the edge and rush, a la Dante Hightower. who changed the fortunes of the Super Bowl with a rush and knocked it free from Matt Ryan.
All right, next team on the clock. This is the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals have not had a ton of success in recent memory. They almost won a Super Bowl a few years ago when they had Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden. They had some pretty good team. They had a pretty good team for a couple of years, and since then they haven't been very great. They drafted what's his name, Kyler Murray, and they drafted him with the #1 overall pick a handful of years ago, and he's been up and down. Sometimes he's really good, sometimes he's not. So I don't think you're going to see quarterback here because they still, I think, like Kyler Murray. But what do they need? They just drafted a wide receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. last year.
In particular up front.
I feel like it's got to be defense. Yeah, like this guy's saying. Like when I imagine what they lack in, it's mainly defense and offensive line. Sometimes Kyler can. Sometimes he holds onto the ball too much and gets hit too often. So maybe offensive line, but I don't know how good their offensive line is really. So I think they're going to go defensive player.
Pretty good, right? I think they were
maybe D-line, because I feel like that's always their problem is they get into shootouts with teams and they always lose half the time. Arizona's a weird team, I would say. They get into a lot of close games and they often lose them, which is kind of sucks for them. They have a lot of games where it's like, oh, the game's tied. Oh, now they lost for a field goal or the other team scored.
120,000 here. They closed off the entrances shortly after the Titans were on the clock. We're at capacity. Kurt Warner, Mr. Arizona, take it away.
I tell you what, I like what you guys are talking about on the offensive side of the ball. You know, you've got Marvin Harrison on the backside that can be your X-receiver. You got Trey McBride, a great tight end there with the Cardinals. And I'd love to have one of those speed guys on the other side that can get down.
Oh, he thinks maybe they could go receiver, Kurt Warner? Kurt Warner actually was a I keep forgetting you guys can't see, but the guy talking right now is former quarterback of the Cardinals for a little bit.
30 seconds into the Bengals being on the clock. The pick is in, and once it's announced, we will be halfway through this first round. And while we're waiting for the commissioner to bring out the pick, what do you think the story is of it's the trade at the top? Jackson,
oh my gosh,
making that move. That's the story so far.
Tony Khan off the top rope. I mean, that was no neck brace this time. No neck brace this time.
Check out Jaguars draft camp. What's up, Tony? Congrats again to the Jaguars for making that massive move.
And also Shedeur Sanders. You know, no Shedeur Sanders so far, and this is kind of what we started hearing as the draft became closer and closer, is that not only is it going to fall to 21 in Pittsburgh, but there's no backstop after 21, and unless someone moves back in, maybe New York moves back in.
Could be Cleveland
to move back in.
Don't forget, Cleveland just got another second-round selection. They have two of the first 4 picks tomorrow night.
And New Orleans is another team that you still can they move back in if that's the case.
And I just think if Cleveland and the Giants both like the same quarterback, it'll be fascinating in the game of chicken to see who decides to make the move and go get him.
Well, as for the Arizona Cardinals, you mentioned...
I still feel like the Giants got to get a quarterback. I mean, what exactly are they going to do with quarterbacks? I feel like they've got to trade back up.
With the 16th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Mississippi.
All right, so they go in.
It's almost exactly what I thought. They need defensive help.
Here, Daniel.
Yeah, they were active in free agency. Remember, they just brought in Calais Campbell to see what they get out of him at the end here. Dalvin Tomlinson was brought in. They drafted Darius Robinson, edge rusher, in the first round last year. So they go back.
Yeah,
to
that's a good pickup for.
I always think, Charles, you kind of are where
good pickup for Cardinals. Again, that's something that they've been struggling with is like defensive stopping people, and you never go wrong with the NFL. The one thing that is a must-have is you got to have big, fast dudes, and it almost never is a bad thing to draft a big offensive lineman or a big defensive tackle if you think they're really good. You know, I know a lot of people think that football, you know, might be about like the super athletic, agile, speed guys, but ultimately football comes down to two big dudes, you know, battling against each other. Whoever is the bigger, more athletic, stronger dude. Most of the time, that's a great pick. So you can have all the thing is in the NFL, you need a good mix, preferably. You want big, fast dudes, and then you also want little fast dudes. So it's like, that's why it's so hard to have a good, great team.
You see, we test, and then we test again. World-class engineering and rigorous testing.
Why am I listening to a commercial? Get out of here. Alright, let's play a new song. Alright, let me check out my Steam catalog. I want to find something new to play. Something that I can just hop in, have a good time for a little bit, hop out with. What do we got? Among Us is there. I don't think I've ever really played Among Us. I don't know how fun that is, though, to play as a newbie. I'm just looking at online games that I could give a go. I guess I don't have to play an online. Maybe I could just play like a short little whatever game. Bam, bam. Among Us is alright, said Skylar Twilight. I've played it for a little bit, but it was fine. A fun little game, but it definitely didn't like super draw me in. Among Us is okay if you have players in a Discord. Yeah, that's too much. I don't want to be doing all that. I totally forgot that you do need that to have a good time with it. What else we got here? I got so many Steam games. Holy crap. Holy cow. I could just play Hades. Oh, dude, that sounds so fun. Oh gosh, now that I'm listening to the Hades music, now I'm wanting to play Hades tomorrow. Hades is so good. I'm like drooling at the mouth thinking of playing Hades. Oh, draft is back, alright.
Now, as much as it is a Fenway. I'm trying to figure out exactly whose song is it now, though. I hear it with everyone. Everyone does.
Never seems so good. So good. So good.
We've heard it overseas. Country Roads is it?
That's true.
Ba, ba, ba.
You just got to do it. Ian, CD, you take it away.
No?
Rich, the Bengals pick is in at 17, which brings us to number 18, Seattle. My understanding is the Seahawks are interested in getting out of this pick, certainly open to trading back. The Steelers, who visited with Shedeur Sanders, in a very positive visit. They are right there, so this could be the window if you have some teams, maybe the Giants, maybe a quarterback-needy team, we don't know, maybe the Rams, come trades up over the Steelers to try to get Shedeur Sanders, something to watch for over the next couple minutes.
Well, this tracks also with your mock draft, DJ. Last night, your call was that the Giants would trade back into 18 with Seattle as a trade partner for Jackson Dart.
That was going to say, the only caveat was it wasn't for Shedeur, it was for Jackson Dart, so who knows which quarterback they prefer. But I knew Seattle, John Schneider, he loves those day 2 picks. And with a lot of their needs, they marry up well on day 2. So he already has 2 2s and 2 3s. He could add to that stockpile if you wanted to go all the way out for a team like the Giants coming up. I just thought that could make a lot of sense for both parties.
I think that there's a lot of starters on day 2 as well. There's starters in this draft tomorrow and in round 2 and in round 3. So stockpiling is...
No, why stream? Why you do this to me, stream?
Those rounds is not a bad idea.
Seattle now on the clock. The Steelers at 21st overall. Tampa's up after Seattle. But here's the 17th overall pick.
Tampa!
Second half.
Tampa! Bay! Let's go, Bucks. We're almost there.
For Sweet Carolina finally peter out. Out of respect to Neil
Let's
Donovan
go, Bucks.
karaoke that's broken out here. Now the house band is done.
I get fired up. Football fires me up. I used to play football. That's why it fires me
In the
up.
2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Shamar Stewart, defensive end, Texas A&M.
Great pick. Great player
Not surprised to see him go defense
for
here.
Bengals.
This defense last year, not good.
Bengals historically have not had a great defenses the last handful of years.
You think
Not
about
surprising.
Al Golden coming in to try and fix this defense. They had 5 games last year, CD, where they scored over 30 points and lost. The offense is in great shape. They took care of re-signing those guys. We'll see what happens with Trey Hendrickson, but you got a little insurance here or a playing partner here with Shamar Stewart off the edge. Rashawn Gary.
It's a good player. That's a good pickup because, like he was just saying, if you didn't hear him, Bengals have had one of the worst defenses in the league the last couple of years, and they've literally lost games because they have like one of the best offenses, but one of the worst defenses. So that is a big need for them, is getting some better defensive players.
But the thing I love about him, those traits first of all, but then the effort, man. He plays with unrelenting energy and effort, and someone who is very beloved in that program. They love this kid.
I think he got up to about 280 last year playing. I liked him better at the 265 range, and he did that during the draft run-up process. And let's face it, with Cincinnati, with Burrow and that offense, you don't have to be a top 10 defense to make noise. You just need to be average again. And by the way, that's when they were going to conference title games, going to Super Bowls. They weren't a dominant defense. They were good. And if they can get back to that, Shamar Stewart can help them. Joe Burrow would take them the rest of the way.
Listen, I'll defend some of these guys that don't have college production on the defensive line. And in our game, in the college game, that ball is out. You know, all of these RPOs, it's a different style of game than the pocket passing game in the National Football League. That's why you see right now throughout the league guys that didn't have a lot of college production not only get selected high, but then produce in the NFL.
Owe is a great example
Owe is a great example. Double-digit sack guys that have turned it on in their NFL career, and I think that Shamar Stewart is one of these guys. It's traits over production right now, but I think the production is in the future.
Trayvon Walker's double digits the last 2 years.
And you want to hear it start at Georgia.
And in talking about respectable neighborhoods, Shamar Stewart is the 3rd Texas A&M defender to be drafted in the first round this century. The other 2 are named Von Miller and Myles Garrett.
Ironically, the guy picked right before
20 years.
Walter Nolan was his teammate before he transferred from Texas A&M to Ole Miss.
Well, there you go. So he's going to Cincinnati, which, as you
All right, who's
pointed
next?
out,
Seattle's up.
Man, all that
Seattle needs a lot.
Here, defensive stop there. They make the playoffs.
Who knows what's Seattle could go defense. They could go. They need help on offense because they lost so many people.
To deal with. That's what we're saying. They don't have to make a leap into the top 10. They just need to get themselves back to average. If you get back to average, that's 3-4 more wins last year.
This is their first pick on the defensive side of the ball. I can promise you it will
not be the last.
They have a lot more work to do on that side. And Al Golden, who's spent time at the professional level as well as in college, developing these young guys is going to be a key part of their success.
Well, Tampa's on the clock. Seattle may have wanted a trade out, but they didn't. Their pick is in. We're going to get their pick in short order.
Tampa!
And it looks like Jamie Erdahl is ready. Jamie, take it away.
Let's go.
Shamar, you are laser focused in this moment. Is this the kind of intensity
Let's
you're
go,
bringing
Tampa.
to a Bengals defense?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely for sure. Some people done messed up.
Really?
I'm coming.
What's making you upset about the moment that you have right now?
Nothing. I'm happy. I'm excited.
Okay.
Just know I'm coming.
You are in the division now with Lamar Jackson. How's that going to feel when you can chase down a quarterback like that?
Hey, man, it's an honor, man. You know, South Florida versus South Florida. He's one of the best. Why would I not want to sack one of the best?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, it's that. You know, again, on my show, we say somebody goes higher register when they don't really believe what they're saying. When they go, nothing, I'm happy.
So
I'm happy. Why am I unhappy?
That was at least an octave.
You went up there, yeah.
Hey, and how about real quick? The commissioner last year played hurt. You remember?
Yeah, right.
Had a bad back coming in. Looks like the rehab is kicked in. The commission's handling everything coming at him this year. Like, he is standing strong and firm, and he's giving back as good as is coming in.
All right, sorry.
For the commission. Good year.
All right,
good
Garrett, Seattle, hurry up, pick, get out of the way. Pick and get out of here.
And picked, and
Let's go, Tampa. We need quite a few things, but defense is where we, especially in our secondary, we need a lot of help back there.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Gray Zabel, guard, North Dakota State.
Okay, we don't really need a guard,
my favorite player
so that works out for us.
There's some reasons why on the screen. 5-position flex. He's played tackle. He proved at the Senior Bowl where he dominated that he could kick inside and play guard or center. Graham Barton, think about how quickly he transitioned when he got to the next level with the Tampa Bay Bucks and how well he played. Here he is at left tackle. You can see his movement and his commitment to finishing. He plays, I would say, beyond the echo of the whistle when you watch him. Here he is at the Senior Bowl where he was dominant against all comers. I've never seen somebody take more reps than he took at this year's Senior Bowl. And when
Let's go, Bucks. Come on, baby. Let's get a good player here, man. Let's get a good player. Like, I just want a great player.
Fantastic at the combine. A 36.5.
This is a great player. Let's just pick who's the best player, man. Take him. Best player, take him. That's all I want. Or secondary. We always need secondary help. Secondary help. We could use a linebacker or just the best player you see.
Congratulations to Gray Zabel. The Bucks are on the clock, then the Broncos, and then there's that 21st overall pick for the Steelers.
Oof, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I swear, man, if we draft another defensive lineman, dude, we always draft in defensive linemen. I mean, granted, you know, I know I was saying, you know, it's normally not a problem drafting defensive line, but our organization is just like the last handful of years, our 1 or 2 picks always go to like offensive line or defensive line, which is great. It's not the most exciting thing ever, though. We'll see. Historically, though, I will tell you guys, the Tampa Bay Bucks, we are one of the best drafting teams in the league. There's a couple other teams out there that are like that. Oh gosh, who was the team I was talking about earlier that is an amazing drafting team? Cowboys. Cowboys and Bucks are like 2 really great drafting teams. Same thing with Green Bay. Green Bay is a very good drafting team. Don't the Bucks need a new cornerback or tight end? We don't need tight end help. We need cornerback big time. We've had secondary problems for years, and it's something that the organization has they don't like to attend to. So we'll see. I would love just to pick the best cornerback. We'll see what they do. Again, historically, our organization loves drafting linemen, so we'll see. There's really any number of directions. I mean, Mike Evans is getting older. Chris Godwin's older. You could go with maybe who's the best wide receiver, fast guy you see. I would take a wide receiver. I would take a linebacker. We need linebacker help. We need a cornerback. You know, there's definitely a handful. Tight end, I don't think is really a hand. We still got Cade Otton. Cade Otton's pretty good. I'm comfortable with Cade, but we'll see. I'm nervous. Come on. Our problem is that like we draft great players, it's not often that we draft like elite, like that we have like a mega talent. That's part of the problem, is that like we always have like a solid, great group of guys, but it's rare that we have like that one major big time talent. Mike Evans is probably the only, well, no, I guess Mike Evans, Levante David, as of like the last handful of years, those are definitely like two of our top tier guys. Gerald McCoy was another one who was really good for a long time. Yeah, we've had trouble drafting. Again, we draft really well, but we don't ever get like an amazing, like, I want to get like that guy, you know.
Look at that. Sea of football humanity.
Now this group's probably gonna get bigger because Green Bay is picking in a couple picks, so maybe you'll have some people coming in to want to see what Green Bay does. Oh, you can't see. I keep forgetting I don't have it on screen. Sorry.
And we're now the 19th overall pick. Tampa has made the selection. Denver is 2 minutes into their pick. They're all congratulating.
Come on, Todd. Come on, Bulls.
Who? We will find that out in a second. Then Denver has 7 and change.
Yeah, our GM Jason Licht is one of the best drafting GMs in the league. So again, most likely they'll make a good decision, but
chilling at his party, waiting to hear
let's
his
go.
name, waiting to get
Let's go. Come on.
And we're keeping an eye on all of that. There he is. As the wait will soon be over for him. And
Let's go, Bucks. Come on.
And his dad just tweeted out, Prime tweeting out, the rejected, Dion Jr., pardon me, the rejected will be respected. Hey, listen, one more time, as Shedeur is now about to, we assume, drop to at least the 20th overall pick in this draft, as Denver will not choose him, and it does look like he will be available for the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21, and then it will be, as they say, on and cracking in terms of that. Just ask Lamar Jackson how he's enjoying being the 32nd overall pick in the NFL draft a few years ago. Just Aaron Rodgers, how did he enjoy being the 24th
Come on,
overall
Bucks.
pick eventually, as we all know?
Well,
I hate that I get so worked up. I'm like nervous, I'm like anxious.
Right. It is not about when you go, it is about where you go. So to me, and who's Coach Sanders' family, you're hoping that he lands in the right place, not at the right time.
The reigning MVP of the Super Bowl is a second-round selection.
Yep.
Right. So these things happen, but obviously they had better ideas in mind in terms of how soon their night would be over. As for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what do you think should be? Oh, here comes the commissioner. So
let's find out together, Rich.
Let's, Daniel. Here we go. Last pick in the teens.
With the 19th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State.
Okay.
The Ohio State has entered the chat. The 2024 champs see their first player selected tonight, and it's Emeka Egbuka going to Tampa.
Yeah, Jason Light's been there for a long time. His first pick as general manager in Tampa was Mike Evans. This is the next wide receiver that he's taken in the first round. It's been a minute. Big time tracking, big time hands.
Let's go. We drafted a receiver. Okay.
You see him here with the ball in his hands. He can make you miss. He has played around so many great players at Ohio State. He's not afraid to do the dirty work. He's not selfish. You see him as a lead blocker. Just look at how physical and tough he is. I saw the Bucs live,
that's
as
different
you
for
guys
us.
did as well, CD. That's one of the more physical teams in the NFL. He's going to fit right in.
So see this lineage right here: Olave, Wilson, Smith.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That's an interesting pick.
For Egbuka to go back for a senior year, yes, to go and maybe right the wrongs and potentially win a national championship, but it was also important to him to have the lineage down to Jeremiah Smith, who we all think is still going to be at Ohio State for a couple of years and might be the best of them all, you know, coming out in a couple of years. And that was important. You know why? The brotherhood. That's what they call their position room. And no one personifies the brotherhood better than Emeka Egbuka. He's a man of strong faith and strong character that runs clean routes, great hands, and he is a team leader. He's my favorite guy that I covered this year in college football. He will succeed. What Ohio State receiver has not succeeded I mean, these bloodlines from this position, Brian Hartline's the best position coach in college football. You see that lineage right there?
He's not particularly fast. I mean, 4.48 is like, that's not slow, but that's, it's not like elite speed. Interesting.
Here's the thing I look at with them. Chris Godwin coming back off of a big injury, right? Evans getting up there in his years. Here's Jalen McMillan, who came in last year, and they were so high-powered on offense. Just because their coach went to Jacksonville, Liam Cohen, they don't want to get off the gas. Josh Grizzard's the new offensive coordinator. They want to stay on it. And adding Ibuka allows him to do that, and he is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Deuce.
Congratulations to this Buckeye. He is going to Tampa. When we come back, 3.5 minutes until the Denver Broncos have to make their selection, and then it is time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Will they take Shedeur Sanders or who else?
The 2025 NFL Draft is brought to you by Lowe's. Score more with the Lowe's app. Download now. And presented by Verizon. The NFL, powered by Verizon 5G.
Lowe's knows spring brings new growing moments.
I killed it.
And sometimes growing pains.
So it needs food? Full sun, huh? Mm-hmm. Plant these together. Absolutely.
Okay, you know what? All right, I'm good. I think that was a great pickup. I'm totally okay with that pick. I definitely think we needed some help defensively on the secondary and the defensive and the linebacker core. We probably could have used another pass rusher as well, but you know, it's like I said. I mean, I remember mentioning before the pick happened that Mike Evans is older. He's still really good, but Mike Evans is older. Chris Godwin is getting older. Jalen McMillan is still pretty young as a receiver. So I think that's a great pickup. I think the Bucs are looking down the line and they're like, listen, Godwin and Evans probably aren't long for this team, you know, much longer. So let's look forward and let's look ahead and try and get whoever our quarterback is, like an elite wide receiver talent. And let's hope this guy can be really good. See, that's the kind of pick I was hoping for, is maybe we can get this guy to be like... I really hope he could be like the next... maybe not Jamar Chase, but like... I hope he's really good. Zay Flowers. If he's like Zay Flowers or somebody of that ilk, I would love it. Let's get some speed, some talent at receiver. I really like that pick.
From the most advanced technology to the broadest, most reliable network of sales and service dealers, always moving forward. We lead, others follow.
What makes iconic? It's a feeling. It's a flavor. It's every moment. It's every detail. It's the excitement. It's the journey. But most importantly, it's the destination. Book your iconic stay at Caesar's Palace.
Turn the off-season on again with the NFL app. Your home for all things NFL. And subscribe to NFL Plus for
all right,
more
I'm happy.
For the picks.
I'm happy with that pick.
All in one place, all year long.
Now my question is was he the best receiver that was available? I mean, it looked like the guys that were talking about him were saying he's a very good player.
It's a hard football journey. Being a zero-star recruit really taught me to put my head down and just keep working.
Playing for Dad, not only is he the coach, we represent him on the field. Draft night will be legendary.
Welcome back to Green Bay. We're about to hear the Denver Broncos first-round selection. Last year, they crushed it clearly with Bo Nix. Who will they get 20th overall? Omarion Hampton is out there. And we see back-to-back Ohio State players. Trevion
Okay,
Henderson,
so here's Denver.
Draft boards if the Broncos do want to go running
Broncos, yeah, I don't know what the Broncos, they could use a running back. Historically, they've had very good defenses as of late. They've had very good receivers. On offensive, I don't know what they need other than a running back, honestly.
What is happening in the Pittsburgh draft room, best you can tell us?
Denver's another team that drafts really well.
On the Pittsburgh Steelers with Shedeur Sanders still out there. We know he had a good visit. We know he is now available. We do not know if the Steelers are going to pick him. My understanding is, as of yesterday, they were going back and forth. Is the value worth it? Split in the room. We will see what decision they make.
Split in the room. Well, the draft room is about to get the 20th overall selection. The Steelers are 90 ticks in now into their clock time for the 21st
Yeah,
overall
but
pick.
Denver's got a nice
Again,
young
they don't have a
quarterback. They got a
second-round
lot of good
selection. They went
talent
to
on
Seattle
both
for
sides.
DK Metcalf. They're waiting
Denver
on
could
Aaron Rodgers.
literally just draft whoever they think is the
Meantime,
best player.
Here comes the commissioner with a special guest to announce the Broncos selection.
Maybe they go receiver here? Or running back? I think they're going to take a skills player.
April is World Wish Month, and the NFL is proud to support the life-changing wishes that Make-A-Wish grants.
I would anticipate running back or wide receiver here.
One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer. There you go, Sam. Raise that fist up, baby. His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on Sam as his wish comes true. Take it away, Sam.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's go Broncos. Thank you. All right, with the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DB, Texas.
Jahdae Barron, okay. That's honestly kind of a player we needed, but...
Player on your top picks is the 20th overall selection. High quality value for a terrific player.
Yeah, he was my highest rated player there. My top corner, the first corner to come off the board here. Remind me of Cooper DeJean as someone who is going to be outstanding playing in the slot. Big time ball skills for Texas. He can find, locate, and go get the football down the field. Here he is showing you his ability to trust his eyes, see it, plant, and drive on the ball. Again, in the slot. He can cover tight ends. You can cover slot receivers.
That's probably a really good pick for Denver. Denver, they've had very good defense. Denver's, again, Denver drafts really well. John Elway over there.
There he is against Ibuka, who we saw just go off the board.
Is John Elway still the GM? I think he is.
Down on a defense that is outstanding, and they added Hufanga in the offseason. They added Greenlaw. You've got Pat Surtain, the reigning defensive player of the year.
Riley Moss played well for him last year.
Big-time player, in my opinion, the best corner in the draft who's going to plug in as the nickel.
You know, that Texas secondary was not great 2 years ago when they faced Michael Penix in the national semifinal. Penix ate him up, if you remember. He was elusive and ate up that secondary. And Jahdae Barron came back. They got Andrew Makuba from Clemson, and guys, they were transformed in a lot of ways because
look at that talent on defense. Jahdae Barron, Surtain, Greenlaw, Bonito, Zach Allen. Denver's loaded, man. Denver really is a good team. They got a lot of good talent. They draft really well.
Most of the season, they just got better with Jahdae Barron.
And DJ, you're alluding to him possibly going into the nickel, right? Riley Moss played well for him on the corner opposite Pat Surtain. If he goes into the nickel, Jaquan McMillan played well for them. This is where size matters. You're getting a much bigger, stronger, more physical guy going into that spot.
Too.
He can blitz off the edge, and that's what you bring him into.
Remember how fast he ran at the combine? He was a 10-900 guy.
You're doing too much, dude.
Remember, it's Kansas City's want to get back to throwing the football around, and the Los Angeles Chargers are
Is this Shadur Sanders? Is this a quarterback right here for the Pittsburgh?
Phone, gents, and is Shadur Sanders on the other end of the line? I mean, that is basically the question of this draft. If Shadur wasn't going to go 3rd overall to the Giants or 9th overall to the Saints, then would he go?
It doesn't seem like it. Shadur's not on the phone.
Shot or not?
Oh, it could not be a live shot.
Shadur is waiting. This is moments ago, we're told. So if it doesn't happen here, the only question is when does it happen tonight, if at all? And if it's not Shadur, who could it be? I know they were really eyeing defensive.
Boo McCreator, Steelers? You mean cheater?
Kenneth Grant, if he would have been there, I think would have.
Yeah, Steelers don't bother me. They're in the AFC, whatever.
Yeah, he's my highest rated defensive tackle that's still out there right now.
And you could see, again, the players that are in your top 20 that are still on the board there.
I mean, let's not bury that. Like, they need a quarterback.
Yes, they do.
I mean, we can go think about defense all we want. This organization needs a trigger man. They need a quarterback.
If they're not taking him here, Does that say that they feel like they know they're getting Aaron Rodgers, or they have an absolute
Yeah, the Steelers got to get a
Because
quarterback.
You're not taking one here, and obviously you can have Rodgers and still take a quarterback.
I would be shocked
you're
if this
not
isn't a
taking one
quarterback
here,
for the Steelers.
You're telling your fans you've got a plan in place.
Now, look, I'm just telling you guys, if you went back and read my Kenny Pickett report, his strengths and weaknesses lined up with Shadur's strengths and weaknesses as a player. They took one ride on that roller coaster in this portion of the draft. I don't know that they're going to do that again.
What a monster moment this is in the 2025 draft, and we're not understanding.
This is a fascinating pick right
The
here.
mystery's
I'm
about to
super curious what they do.
With the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, Oregon.
Wow.
And the reaction from the crowd as
They passed up on a quarterback. Holy cow.
Right there in the middle of their defensive line.
I had a chance to go see him live, and he's impressive. He's on the other side of the line of scrimmage constantly. You see his quickness. He was at Michigan State, transferred to Oregon. He identified Oregon as
I cannot believe they didn't take a quarterback. I mean, this guy could be really good.
And that's what he did for Oregon all year long. He was just a load.
I mean, that guy is right. I mean, they either got to be confident they're going to get Aaron Rodgers, or they're going to take just somebody in the second round or third round.
They
That's
chose a defensive lineman in the first round as a guy who will be welcoming him in to the program. The guy all the way on the left, Cam Hayward. So they went there. They
that's
did not
surprising,
go
man. I
quarterback.
feel like they need a quarterback,
And it
but
does not appear they will have
okay.
the draft capital in this year's draft to trade back into the first round. Maybe they will tomorrow, but for the moment, we move on to the 22nd overall pick with the Chargers and then the hometown Packers after that.
all right, fascinating. I don't know. Again, that's not my team, so I don't care. But I feel like they need a quarterback. But what do I know, huh? Again, it's crazy that like, Phantom Fox says, wait, they chose a University of Oregon player, says Phantom Fox? Yeah, defensive tackle. Who knows? Pittsburgh's a weird team, man. They're weird. Their decision-making sometimes doesn't make sense to me. I thought it was weird right off the bat when they, like, went out and got Fields and Russell Wilson, and I'm just like, they're a weird like halfway team, if that makes sense. It's like they just refuse to go all in or make like a weird like a good decision. They're like too busy. It seems like they're like outsmarting themselves sometimes. The music stopped. Kind of want to learn more about this Egbuka that we drafted. Sorry. Where do I see the previous pick? Oh, draft is back. Sorry.
And there's the Gimp. I guess the Chargers Gimp. I don't know. But the Charger faithful getting ready to hear all this. And the inner circle in Green Bay, okay, hosting LA Fire Department first responders. And thank goodness for them. And what they did in January, the heroic work to save lives and homes and communities. So here we go. Here's the Chargers with their pick. A lot of value available, DJ. We look at your top players available, and there's a ton of players that have top 20 grades on them for Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh to choose from.
Yeah, I had him taking Travion Henderson in the mock draft, even though they brought in Najee Harris. Thought he'd be a nice compliment, kind of a thunder lightning thing there for the Chargers. But you look at some of these other guys that are available. Matthew Golden, some real speed on the outside at receiver. But the other one I'm staring at, you think that Jesse Minter and company are familiar with Will Johnson, who has kind of slid down? And it's proof of concept. They've seen him in their defense.
If there's one team that would get over an injury concern because they've been with
Here we
him
go.
and they've seen him.
So what is, I always want to say San Diego Chargers, what does the LA Chargers need?
They recruited him, they played him, they saw his best football.
I feel like they could, they're a team that could go anywhere.
Ian Rappaport with some knowledge as to why they're taking it down to the end here. Less than 2 minutes to go, Ian.
First of all, as far as the Chargers,
Oh, that's right. They lost Joey Bosa.
Incoming calls about teams potentially trying to trade with them. We'll see what that ends up being. I want to address.
I definitely feel like defense. Vanna Fox had copyright music in the background. Yeah, it's someone singing. Plus, there's talking over it. I'm a little less. I'm not as worried about it.
Concerns about his longevity. That is why he has fallen. Not as much the speed thing, more the concerns about his knee.
Well, coming off of the national championship season, folks were talking about a top 5 pick for Will Johnson.
Well, if he was
We can hear the music suspend him.
Would you agree with that?
Been up there. Well, I mean, to me,
Well, I don't have a warning up just yet from YouTube, so I think I'm okay. It'll warn me if it starts to hear music.
When it came to man percentage last
Again,
year,
music as long as it's like I'm talking over it or they're talking over it, or and plus this is like cover music. I don't know. It's a little less hard for the algorithm or the bots to find or to locate it.
I was in that stadium in Houston when they lost to the Texans, and McConkey went off, but I just felt like they needed some more speed weapons for Justin Herbert. They've got to give him more options, guys who can win when you're going to see a defense like the Texans. Who can
So is this maybe where Matthew Golden goes?
So that speed can come in the way of a tight end. That speed can come in the way of a back out of the backfield, but that speed can come on the outside of receiver.
Remember, they lost Josh Palmer, big target. They brought back Mike Williams, but you don't know exactly what juice you have left in him. So the speed makes sense that DJ is talking about right there. But it's not just, and Joel's mentioned it, you know, they know Will Johnson, they know people, but it's not just Michigan guys. It's all the people that they've coached on the staff, guys who know players. They don't mind bringing in those guys.
Well, the Chargers have taken this down to the final second.
Yeah, they're taking a long time with this draft pick.
Celebratory phone call with whoever they've just selected.
I'm gonna guess Matthew Golden.
I don't know.
That or they need a pass rusher.
For some reason.
Best pass rusher, or I think they're going to take best receiver, maybe. One or the other.
Reacted to that. I mean, Matthew Golden is still in that group.
I mean, he's the fastest wide receiver. Right? I mean, that 40 was incredible.
My 3 top offensive players, skill guys, you've got Omarion Hampton, the running back. You've got Matthew Golden, the wide receiver. And then you look at the tight end is Mason Taylor from LSU.
So he could go Jason Taylor's son. He can go also defensively.
Jason Taylor's son is he's the okay. I didn't realize the M. Taylor is Jason Taylor's son. That's interesting.
There's Hampton as well.
Jason Taylor, an all-time great defensive end for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and they're
I think he's a Hall of Fame player.
Son believe he could rush off of the edge. They've got some stud young off-the-ball linebackers that they really like there. So that one, he's a great player. I love him. I just don't know for them exactly how we would fit their value at this point.
And similar to Will Johnson, there was a few flags thrown up about the injury situation. There's a knee situation with Campbell, some shoulder situations there. So I think that's.
So let's see. I probably can't be up much longer because I got to work in the morning, so I might not be able to finish the whole draft. But let's at least go 1 or 2 more picks, and I might have to call it early.
Where they needed players, and I feel like that's a similar situation with the Chargers right here.
And with all those needs,
Because we're still, how many picks we still got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We still got 10 picks left, and it's already 10:30 for me. Seems like we're still, they still got at least an hour and a half left.
Here comes the commissioner with the pick, and after this, there's only 10 more picks tonight.
Maybe an hour. I'd say probably an hour.
Fifth year of contractual control that goes along with it. Something to keep in mind with only one quarterback off the draft.
I'm going to guess Matthew Golden right here.
With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Omarion Hampton, running back.
Oh, running back. Okay.
All right, so the Tar Heel is going to be putting on the powder blue.
Yeah, he was my top available offensive player left. And Omarion Hampton, look, he reminded me of Jonathan Taylor. You see this big back get out in the open field, and he can absolutely go. You see the size. He is a big, physical, punishing runner. A lot of times you have to sacrifice with that. You'll get somebody who's maybe a little bit tight, someone who lacks the home run speed.
That's probably a good pick for the Chargers. They historically have, lately they haven't had very good running backs. Since LaDainian Tomlinson, really, they haven't had anybody super elite. I mean, I guess Austin Eckler, he had like a year or two where he was pretty good.
Jim Harbaugh's always going to want to pound the rock guys, and now he's got a stable of backs, and they are big, punishing runners.
And Joel, you know him very, very well. You know Harbaugh and what he likes to do. That line has been built up all last year. Mekhi Becton in free agency this year. Now you add this runner.
It is the blueprint he used at San Diego and San Francisco and Stanford and Michigan. It's going to be the same blueprint, guys. You know,
blueprint works.
This is a back that is versatile. He's a workhorse player. He had 25 touches in 8 different games last year. He's a really dynamic player.
The 1940 draft was held in December of 1939.
Who's the number 1 pick?
In Milwaukee.
Do you know who the number 1 pick was?
Who was that?
One George Bad News Cafago, University of Tennessee, selected by the Chicago Cardinals. And by the way, George Cafago was on the staff at Tennessee when I played there.
The reason why I mentioned all this was not for you to.
All right, Green Bay.
You know, we gotta get them in when we can.
Understood. It's because it was the last time there was a draft in the state of Wisconsin. We have reached the moment where the first ever Green Bay Packer pick to be made in Green Bay has arrived. That moment is finally here. And what do you think is happening somewhere technically within earshot of us right now?
I had them going corner when you fill out the mock draft. I had them going with Hairston from Kentucky. But oh, how ironic it would be with Matthew Golden, who's my top receiver that's left on the board after all these years.
The Packers take a first-round
receiver?
They
refused to do it. What? Maybe they just didn't want to play a road game. Maybe they wanted to bring the draft to them and make it a little bit bigger moment.
Who was it? Who was it from Florida State that
Javon
they took?
Walker.
Javon Walker.
There you go.
2002.
Yeah, who Brett Favre famously basically told him to stop holding out. Remember that? That was a big moment when Javon Walker did hold out. And that was the last time they took a wide receiver in the first round. They have taken pass catchers in the first round. But here in the home of the Green Bay Packers, we're less than 5 minutes away from this awesome draft moment. And the German Packer is here. I know you were asking.
Boo, Packers. Well,
we have heard
I don't know. I have, because my brother's a Bears fan. I have to root against the Packers, but I also have a buddy who's a Packer. I have a couple buddies who are Packers fans. So I normally don't mind rooting for the Packers either way.
A lot of cheese curds in that crowd.
Remember Green Bay.
Look how big the crowd got now that the Packers are up. It grew. It definitely grew a little bit.
Well, they each brought a buddy.
Everyone
brought a friend, and they're all here.
You show and bring one with you.
Listen to this.
they go wide receiver, this place is going to explode.
Where's the base? Go, Pat, go.
Walking in here, everyone, all of it. They better not trade. We want a wide receiver. I mean, you just hear it out there. If they go wide receiver here, this place will explode.
Could you imagine that they do finally, for the first time in 23 years, choose a wide receiver and then Matthew Golden would come out. He'd have his moment, right?
Right there. Kind of like last year was a Terrion Arnold.
Yeah, the Terrion Arnold moment with Detroit going nuts. So we're waiting to hear on all this. And just one more reminder again, there are 10 more first-round picks, which means there are 10 more picks that have a 5th year of contractual control associated with it. And that's important to know.
Let's see. So I'm going to guess Packers are either going to take Javon Walker or Will Johnson. Two of the better remaining skill players. One cornerback, one wide receiver. Benefactors Max works for the Packers. Oh, nice.
The first overall pick in the draft, and we have not.
Yeah, my brother used to live in Milwaukee. He moved from Florida, moved to Milwaukee, then eventually moved over to Chicago.
Instead of a quarterback, another quarterback needy team. The Saints went Kelvin Banks Jr. instead of a quarterback. It's the Texas tackle, and then moments ago the Steelers went defensive tackle Derek Harmon out of Oregon instead of a quarterback as well.
These teams with young
Packers are taking their time with this pick.
They believe in. They're supporting them in this draft. That's a theme of this draft so far. You've got Jacksonville gets Travis Hunter, a weapon out on the outside. You've got Drake May. What do the Patriots do? Let's protect him. You go Will Campbell. This is an opportunity to tell Jordan Love, hey, we think you can go beat Minnesota. We think you can go beat Detroit. And again, I love the idea of them going offense right now. They've tied for the 3rd most drops in the National Football League. I know it's not what they've done historically. I understand that. Maybe I'm just biased for the moment right here with these, multiple 100,000 people behind me. But Jordan Love in this division is going to need to score points.
But as of right now,
so they're playing against
we did
Detroit,
see the celebration.
Minnesota.
We did see the celebration in the draft room, but they have not put the words "the pick is in" up yet. And we imagine when that happens, there will be a massive ovation. But the pick is in fact been made, and Mark Murphy, the longtime outgoing president of the Packers, that's his big fat head, and I'm saying that not in a derogatory manner. And this draft is essentially
yeah, you're going to get a big applause here from the Green Bay home,
arm twisting and
from the homies.
So he will be out on the stage for this moment, and the Vikings are now on.
There it is. Finally, pick is in.
And as you can see, the fans have just learned the pick is in fact in. So here we go.
No way Brian Gutekunst was traded out of this one, Joel.
How cool is this? I'm just looking right behind us here.
They would fit in the building.
You've got a little kid on his dad's shoulders with his Reggie White jersey, so he can see over this crowd to find out who the Packers are going to take. I mean,
yeah, and I see a little girl.
It's really cool, man.
With her Packers gear on, and so many jerseys of the Packers. Not a single soul is looking this way right now.
If Matthew Golden's the pick, all those kids will be racing for their bikes right now to be first in line for the summer.
I'll tell you what, I got a lot of respect for the young lady with the Brian Branch jersey standing up in the midst of this crowd. I got to give her some credit there. That's courage.
Hey, rep your team, man.
Yeah.
The Lions
steadfast in her belief.
And the Lions will be on the clock shortly. The Vikings are a minute in, and
what a career for Mark Murphy, huh?
The party's about to break out, guys, because it's time to throw things to the draft stage for the first draft in Green Bay and the first round pick of the Packers to be announced. Let's send things to the stage.
All right, Green Bay.
Okay, Green Bay, it's your time. To make this historic pick, please give it up for first-team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and Packers President and CEO, Mark Murphy.
Thank you, Roger. How about this atmosphere? Isn't it unbelievable? Roger, thank you and the NFL for bringing the draft here to Green Bay for the best draft in the history of the NFL. Right here. On behalf of the Packers, Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL Draft at Lambeau Field. It is our honor and privilege to host this wonderful event.
Oh, Minnesota drafts next too. Minnesota and Green Bay hate each other. They're in division rivals too. So I gotta watch. Minnesota's gonna get booed very hard as well.
Just out of curiosity, how many of you are owners? Yes.
It's a joke because Green Bay isn't owned by anybody technically. It's owned by like fans or something. It's really weird how they operate.
Dates back to the early days of professional football. With the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2002.
Oh, Matthew Golden.
draft a wide receiver.
Matthew Golden.
Listen to this crowd.
Oh, baby. Matthew Golden, wide receiver of Texas.
And he's here. And he's here.
I'll tell you what.
Green Bay finally did it.
You wait till the draft is in Green Bay. You go get a man for the green and gold named Golden. You can't script this any better. Everybody in this entire crowd wanted a wide receiver, Rich, and they came through for him.
Listen to this crowd. Giving the people what they want. Let's bring a draft to Green Bay. Let's hold it in the parking lot. Let's have 125,000 people. Let's chant Go Pack Go and have the first wide receiver taken with a first-round pick since 2002. And let's have the kid be here in Green Bay, and let's have the word gold in his last name. That is what we call checking every box.
DJ, I think you were the one coming up with it, writing it to me. This is now Matthew Green and Golden.
It's unbelievable. And by the way, this is also the greatest example of peer pressure that I've ever seen in my entire life. This will be in textbooks.
But remember, the fans own the team. Yeah, okay. The fans own the team.
And there is the Green Bay Packer wide receiver, Matthew Golden.
Look at the jacket. He's even color-coded for the pick.
All right, well, if you guys don't know, Tampa Bay and Green Bay are not in the same division. We are both in the NFC. You might not think it, but we and the Packers have a lot of history, especially more recently. Maybe not historically, but we've been kind of going at it with the Packers for a couple decades now, and it's very interesting that we took a receiver,
Yeah, and this is someone who ran
and the Green Bay took. There's been a lot of like crossover between the two teams. We've had players go back and forth, and we've met them in the playoffs recently, and always tough games playing the Packers.
That'll be well received with this crowd here. The ball skills, again, underthrown ball, able to get back to it. The adjustment ability, again, not just a speed receiver. This guy's got natural route.
Green Bay on three.
Take a second.
Let me get a Green Bay on 3. 1, 2, 3.
He doesn't know the Go Pack Go yet. he went 1, 2, 3 Green Bay.
He hasn't gotten the handbook yet.
Like we'll do it differently come preseason.
Sorry, DJ, you're in the middle of all that.
The kid on the bicycle will teach him when first day.
But yeah, Green Bay and Tampa, that's. I don't want to say it's not a rivalry, but we play them. There's a really good games generally.
But CD, when their season was on the line against Arizona,
There's a lot of like little matchups like that. Like Green Bay and San Francisco has been. San Francisco's gotten the best of them recently, but those are two teams that really don't like each other. They meet in the met in the playoffs quite a few times, especially in more recent times.
Detroit's going to score points.
The year we won the Super Bowl with Brady, we had like a very tightly contested time when we faced the Packers in the regular season and in the playoffs, and those were very tough games. We beat them both times, by the way.
Jordan Love's going to be real happy with this.
Jamie Erdahl, take it away with the man of the
hour. Oh, Minnesota's going to get booed. Listen to it.
Matthew, this crowd just welcomed you with a cheer.
Minnesota's in the division with the Packers, so Vikings are going to get mad booed.
Yeah, it was all a part of the plan, man. God made me wait this long, and it was for a reason, man. I can't thank him enough.
You get to make a lot of decisions now about your life, but one of which it sounds like you want to do something really special for your family. What is that now that you get to play in the NFL?
Man, I want to get back to my grandma. You know, we lost our property a couple years ago. And, you know, I just want to get back to my family, man. And, you know, they did so much for me.
Twilight Rip, Minnesota.
So all I can do is get back to them.
They love you for that, and you got a whole lot of new family here tonight.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So I had Brian Gutekunst on my show yesterday. The guest after him was Matthew Golden.
Oh, nice.
And then when Gutekunst got up out of the chair and Golden walked over to it, they hugged each other like they had met each other before.
There a moment?
It wasn't their first time meeting. Had no idea at the time that would be 24 hours later the first wide receiver taken by a Green Bay Packer. By the way, in Matthew Golden's lifetime, because he was born the year after Javon Walker was taken first.
That's awesome.
Round by the Packers.
The Rich Eisen show bringing people together.
I don't know. I'm just telling you. It was just it was a neat moment right there.
It's a great moment.
So like I said, guys, I think I'm going to watch this, and this will be the last pick I see, and I'll call it. I gotta work in the morning, so.
With the 24th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
I just want to see the Vikings get booed.
Vikings select Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State.
All right, so Donovan Jackson is going to Minnesota. Daniel?
Yeah, Minnesota continues to invest in this offense.
All right, well, y'all, I think I'm going to call it there for tonight. Once again, I apologize. I know this isn't something I typically dabble in sports content. I am a consumer of football and sports content, so when I have time, I don't really have a heck of a whole lot of time for it anymore, but every now and then I do like to watch some stuff, especially when it comes to my team. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Definitely a knockoff. You know, we'll definitely move on to some other game tomorrow. Don't forget, we're still going to be playing Sonic Heroes. I think we'll play that Saturday. And yeah, keep an eye out on any other content or anything else. Like, the Giants just traded up. Oh, do I got to watch this pick? Ugh. Today was chill, said Skylar. All right, I got to watch one more pick. The Giants just traded up. I just got to see if they're going to draft a quarterback here. This could be quarterback city right here. So many picks, haha, said Robot Slayer, yeah. I typically start to lose interest because what the thing is that you don't have as crazy picks in the later rounds because typically these are all teams that are really good and they don't really need help. The teams later on in the back end of the rounds, these are teams that like typically have like the number 32 pick typically just won the Super Bowl. And you know, all the other teams behind them were like in the playoffs and were like really good teams, like right here. So Philadelphia just won the Super Bowl, so that's why you can't see it on screen. But yeah, like I said, like 32, the last pick of this round is Philadelphia, and they just won the Super Bowl. So again, it's a little less interesting in the back end because most of the time these teams are like really good and they don't like need anybody. So like I don't know. Most of the time, the guys that they draft are like, it's hard for them to find them, you know, to find a position for some of these guys. But That's why early on, I'd say like picks 1 through like 20. I always find picks like 1 through 24, 25. Those are like the teams that like really need help, you know? I don't know. That's just my, I guess, how I kind of view it. Like later on, I feel like these picks, they end up just becoming, these teams are just like, oh, whoever's the best player, we need them, you know? Whereas like other teams that aren't as good, they have like actual holes and positions they need to fill in with, you know, players. In the latter end, those teams don't really need, you know, positions filled. They're just like, oh, who's the best player? We'll see if we can find room for them. Getting you locked in for this lineup, says Skylar. Well, like I said, this is this could be a quarterback taken, so I just want to see what the Giants do, and then we'll call it.
Sometimes we feel guilty. We can only do so much. That's why more and more pet people rely on Hills with scientifically proven formulas to get.
So the pick is in. Let's see. Is this a quarterback?
Because you're only human. There's
for the New York Giants.
Science does more.
What a last 10 minutes we've witnessed. Green Bay introducing their newest player to Green Bay, and it's the first wide receiver taken with a first-round pick in 23 years, and that's what Green Bay's been asking for the last 23 years. And then,
so let's see, the Giants get the 25, and they traded the second in the second round, a third, and then a 2026 third. Okay,
Houston for tomorrow night.
That's a lot to trade up for. This has got to be a quarterback.
Trade up and take, one would think, a quarterback. Shador is smiling in his spot. Question is if he's letting that be his umbrella, or is he a New York Giant? Daniel Jeremiah, you said it was going to be a trade-up for Jackson Dart last night. Is that what you think?
I felt like that was their preference with the quarterbacks, was Jackson Dart, and they have done a ton
Oh my goodness, the Giants fans are going to be so mad if they take another quarterback that they don't know. Because they drafted Daniel Jones.
To me, more like a Jackson Dart fit with the New York Giants.
I think if they pass up Shador, the fans are going to be so mad.
It's a poker game, right? They called the bluff, and Pittsburgh did not take a quarterback, and now they were patient. That was not a steep price they had to pay to potentially go up and land a quarterback after already getting a premier player in Abdul Carter on board.
And by the way, at 25, that's only 22 slots away from 3.
You're close.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, it's only 22 slots away.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the Giants have got to come away with a quarterback, right? Like,
yes, they've got to draft. This has to be a quarterback.
They damn the torpedoes for it right now, and I know it's not that expensive when you think about it, but they had to do something, and if they come away with a quarterback and Abdul Carter, that's what we call a big W for the Big Blue, right?
You would think.
Certainly, again, if there's anybody supposedly on hot seats there, send them a third-round pick next year. Go for it. And they still have a third.
And like I was saying, another thing you don't have to worry about with these later picks and in the rounds is, again, because these teams are typically really good, they also means they don't need a quarterback. So, like, a lot of the big quarterback pickups aren't going to happen later in the first round. Because these teams don't need a quarterback. You know what I mean? The only hope you have is that maybe there's a trade. Somebody trades up with one of those teams to get one. A team that does need it. Like what the Giants just did. Essentially, the Giants just did that because they were picking in the beginning of the second round, traded 3 picks, and then they move up to the top of the first like they just did. So, you know.
The Houston Texans have traded the 25th
And the Texans didn't need a
pick
quarterback. That's why they traded out to the Giants.
With the 25th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
This is interesting.
the New York Giants select Jackson Dart.
Oh, wow.
Mississippi.
So it is the Ole Miss quarterback, Jackson Dart. He is a first.
Oh my gosh, dude, the Giant fans are going to be so mad.
With Dak and Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels. He is going to be a guy who has every shot in the world to be the quarterback of the Giants. One would think if not this year, then certainly in future years. What a moment for this kid sitting in Utah right now, going to Broadway to be the Giants quarterback at some point.
Yeah, this young quarterback, Ole Miss, is going to have fun throwing to Malik Neighbors at LSU. The SEC rival, is going to get along quite well there as they grow up together. This is someone who got better every year. You see the comparison there with Jalen Hurts, and that's what that's about. You're buying into someone who just continues to improve. You look at what he does with these kind of up and down throws, over linebackers, under safeties. That shows you the touch, the ability to escape rushers, get away.
That is crazy. Jackson Dart is the second quarterback taken in this draft.
Had a nice pairing of wide
I didn't pay
receivers
much
to
attention to
throw
college
there.
football this year
Pocket
like I
movement,
should have, but
you see him climb up in the pocket versus pressure, and he was effective as a runner, no doubt, for Lane Kiffin in that offense. And Charles, I think there's something to the fact, I know you're going to have pressure. You're going into New York, you're a quarterback, you're going to have pressure. He's going to be the second one to speak at the press conference. At least you've got Abdul Carter there. It's different than if he would have been the third pick in the draft, in my opinion.
And you get to watch Russell Wilson do it, Jameis Winston do it. You know, it's not there. But here's the other part. We're going to do all the connecting of the dots, Joel. The Ole Miss connection. Eli Manning came out of Ole Miss. Now we got another quarterback out of there. But guess what, folks? It all started with Charlie Connerly out of Ole Miss. And guess who won the Connerly Award last year?
God, look at that quarterback room for the Giants. Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston, Tommy DeVito.
I think he's in a great situation where he doesn't have to start right away, as you said, Joel.
Yeah, Kurt, I know that you like
That's
Jackson
rough.
Dart. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on his game.
But I tell you what, guys, I think this is so much about style. Now, he's not Josh Allen, but we think about what Brian Daboll did with Josh Allen, and that he wants a quarterback that can move, the design runs, the movement scheme that he likes to have. The second level throws, which Josh Allen was so good at in Buffalo, is what Jackson Dart, to me, separated himself with amongst this group. Best intermediate thrower, I thought, of this group of quarterbacks. And so Shedeur Sanders, I know we were wondering if he would be the guy, but I just think style-wise, what Brian Daboll wants to do, it more fits Jackson Dart. DJ made the comparison to Jalen Hurts, and I believe that's kind of guy he is, and he can do both the movement, the RPOs, and make those second-level throws really, really well.
So Jackson Dart is going to be going into a quarterback room with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and Tommy Cutlets, and then we will see how it plays out as Shedeur Sanders is still
Oh
waiting
no,
to hear his name. We
Atlanta
assume
just traded back
Atlanta's
in.
definitely not traded back into the first round to select him. So let's just place that aside for the moment and let you know the details of this trade. Atlanta coughs up a second tomorrow night.
They gave up a first-round
Saturday,
pick?
and a first rounder next year, and get a third from the Rams. The Rams now get a second-round pick back. They didn't have one this year.
Atlanta gave up a first-round pick. Wow.
Brayton Fisk out of Florida State. So smoke them if you got them right now in Los Angeles. They're not going to pick until kind of the middle of the second night of the draft.
All right, just because I'm a hater of the Falcons, I got to see what they get, and then we'll call it.
And a first rounder next year. Atlanta giving up a lot of capital for this pick here.
Les has got to get a new coffee mug, collect them picks.
Yeah, but here's the other part with Atlanta. It's a division they think they can still go get someone, even though Tampa's won it 4 straight years. They haven't run away with the division. Atlanta feels like they can go do it.
Los Angeles Rams have traded the 26th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. With the 26th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select James Pierce Jr., defensive end, Tennessee.
Wow, that hurts.
So the team that needed pass rush has now absolutely checked the boxes this evening.
We begged them for years. Just take a pass rusher in the first round. They never did it. Now they decide to double up.
Double down.
That hurts. They took 2 elite pass rushers. Uh-oh.
Athlete. Leonard Floyd is the body type. You see the height. You see how kind of that lean, narrow frame. But he ran in the 4.4s, and it shows up. You see him get off the rock. He's got a variety of moves. He's not just going to win with that speed. He can win on the high side as well as underneath the tackle here with a little up and under. Wanted to see a little more consistency with this. The pocket collapsing power. That's going to be an area you want to see him continue to develop. He can set the edge. You see it here as a pass rusher, can also do it in the run game. I knew they spent a lot of time on him, and there was talk, CD, they could take him with the 15th pick. I think they were just surprised Jalen Walker was there. They couldn't pass him up. But hey, why not go back and get another one?
I think what's interesting about this for me, guys, is that when you're
All right, well,
looking at James
I'm crashing
Pierce
out.
now,
I'm
now
angry.
that you picked up Jalen Walker.
Worst draft ever. Falcons got 2 elite pass rushers in the first round. Me angry. I'm rage quitting right now. Rage quitting, going to bed. All right, so this was fun, guys. Hopefully you, again, I know I don't typically do sports content, but hopefully you enjoyed this little. You're getting to see me nerd out for a minute for some football content. I had some fun here though. All right, so real quick, let's see who to thank for this stream. So today we had Skylar Twilight and Phantom Fox. Thank you so much, you two. We had Robot Slayer himself. Thank you so much, Robot. I feel like that was everybody. We had a smaller group today. I was kind of expecting that, though, you know, with the, you know, the sports. I knew this, you know, my community over here wasn't, we don't do a lot of sports stuff. So again, I wasn't expecting the full crew to be here. It's all good, though. Thank you so much to those of you who were here. That was awesome. Well, that was interesting to listen to, said Skylar. Hey, thank you so much. You guys got to see me kind of nerd out on the other thing I enjoy watching. Real quick, want to say a thank you to the Patreon backers. We got BioCrash, Electro Pirate, Skylar Twilight, Tim, and Phantom Fox. And then we got the socials, if you want to see me up there. We got the Patreon if you would like to support the channel monetarily. And then we also have the Discord if you want to be a part of the EnteR ChazmaN conversation community, whatever you want to call it. All right, everybody, like I said, tune in tomorrow night. I'm going to find something for us to play. I still don't even quite know. I did see something pop up about Lord of the Rings Online. I've never played that. Maybe I could play something old that I have, like, no idea about. I don't know. But this is informative. Haha, said Robot Slayer. Hey, well, thank you. I'm hopefully there was something you guys could take away. If not, at least be entertained seeing me be a football geek for a minute. All right. And then, yeah, sorry about the Sonic Heroes. We'll get back to that Saturday. And then post Sonic Heroes, I'm going to be playing the game Claire Obscure Expedition 33. And it sounds like that's going to be a long one. So apologies, I'm choosing another long game to go in on. So, all right, guys, it's 11:06 p.m. I got to go to bed. I got to wake up early. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. I will see y'all tomorrow night. So adios, everybody.